is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
Well, they don't call it Hot Atlanta for nothing. Temperatures in the upper 90s, humidity to match as the Reds begin a 9-game, 10-day road trip in Atlanta. Their final trip to Turner Field before the new ballpark opens next year. On Fox Sports Ohio, it's the Reds against the Braves. Hi, hello, and welcome to Atlanta, everyone. Along with the crafty left-hander Chris Welch and Jim Day, I'm George Grant. And we've been coming here a lot of years, and not very often do these two teams have rebuilding years as they have this year. But, Chris, when you look at it, these are two teams that hope to be paving the way for the future.
Well, they hope so, George, because both of these teams have some good young players that they feel that are going to be part of the future. Right now, both teams also have some guys that are getting older that are probably not going to be part of the future but are contributing right now.
Let's take a look at the road trip. It begins here in Atlanta. From here, the Reds will be heading on to Houston and then on to the Texas Rangers. And when you add it up, the Rangers, of course, are in first place in their division, but you would hope to be able to win some games in the first two stops.
No sweaters or down jackets permitted on this particular trip, I can tell you that. But you're right, 4 here against the Braves. And it's about time the Reds play some teams that weren't, leading the league and everything. So this is going to be a little better test on a rebuilding ball club when these two teams get together. The Astros, however, a team that had a great year last year, the year before, are not nearly playing the way that people thought they would. The Texas Rangers, however, are playing the way. So it's going to be a hot, tough way to go. When those National League teams visit American League cities and they whip out the DH on you, it is not an easy thing to overcome.
Speaking of hot, the Reds' offense has been hot of late. During the month of May, they got it cranked up. Month of June's been even better, Chris.
Well, they started off so slow. You're wondering when this offense was going to get going. And it was kind of interesting that it was Adam Duvall that really sparked them. And Eugenio Suarez had a spurt there. But Joey Votto's coming around. And that is the biggest key, because when you have Votto in the lineup getting on base and kind of terrorizing pitchers, both lefties and righties, it puts a whole new spin on this offense, because early in the year when he wasn't hitting, they were coming right after him. Now they've got to be a little bit more wary about Votto, and it really shows with the rest of the guys picking up the slack.
You've had a keen eye on Daniel Wright. We've watched him in the minor leagues. He's made it to the major leagues. He'll make his second major league start.
He's not going to wow you with stuff. There's no question about it. But what he can do is, if he spots his fastball, he's got good enough breaking stuff to be a very serviceable major league pitcher. I'm not saying he's going to be an ace of the staff or a future guy that is going to be number 1 or 2 in your rotation, but there's no reason why he can't take this opportunity that he's getting tonight and figure, hey, why don't I pitch really well and see if I can secure a spot in the starting rotation the rest of the year, and then let them sort it out. So if Daniel Wright's smart and if he's good tonight, he'll make a tough decision for the Reds somewhere down the road.
On the other side of it, Aaron Blair is going to get the ball for the Braves. Here's a young man, came over via trade, trying to make a home for himself here in Atlanta.
Well, he, like Daniel Wright, very young, especially to the major leagues. He's only 24 years old. He came over in the trade with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he's a guy that, again, not overpowering. His best off-speed pitches are his changeup and his curveball, but he's had some walks and some problems with his control, so maybe the Reds ought to make sure that he throws strikes before they hack at it.
We'll see if Wright is right tonight. The Reds ended their last road trip on a high note. They'll try to start this one on a high note, too. That's coming up next on Fox Sports Ohio.
That was brought to you by Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good, it's Skyline time. In tonight's game, we're participating in the Home Run Challenge. Every home run hit tonight raises $4,400 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by going online to homerunchallenge.org. I'm Jim Day. Something's got to give in this series because the Braves have struggled mightily here at Turner Field this season. And the Reds, outside of their last trip to Colorado, have struggled on the road. It's part of our Elk and Elk storylines tonight. We look at the road record of Cincinnati and the home record of the Braves, and each have won just 7 in those respective categories. MLB ranks 29th and 30th. So, both teams retooling or rebuilding, however you want to label it. 4-game set. We'll see who can turn this statistical anomaly around. Road woes be gone. They took 3 out of 4 in Colorado. Can they do the same here in the ATL? George and Chris are next with Reds Baseball.
Atlanta, George Grant, Chris Welch, Jim Day, as we get ready for game 1 of this 4-game set. Reds ready to take the field against the Atlanta Braves for the final time coming here to Turner Field. This, of course, was the 1996 Olympic Stadium. It was retrofitted. The next year the Braves moved in here, and next year they'll move to their brand new stadium that's about 7 or 8 miles north of downtown Atlanta. Here's Zach Cozart to lead it off in a .284, 9 homers, 25 knocked in. First pitch swinging. Good job, Cristoforo. Foul ball right back to the booth. That's a good way to start the final trip here. Nice job,
George,
buddy.
you use 2 hands and you never make an error.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good way to start it. On the mound for the Atlanta Braves, Aaron Blair. Blair, the youngster who came over in the trade for Shelby Miller. And Chris, this big right-hander is a guy that they hope will be a fixture in their rotation as the years go forward.
Well, they hope so, George. He's a young guy. We talked about him a little bit in the open, only 24 years old. He was a former #1 draft pick of the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2013. In fact, he was part of the herd, came out of Marshall University. Last year was the minor league pitcher of the year for the Diamondbacks. So he's got great potential. He came over in that Shelby Miller deal that the Braves and the Arizona Diamondbacks had over the winter that caused a lot of people to start talking about, which direction both of those teams were headed in.
3 balls, 1 strike to Cozart. They'll play him straight away. This one popped back and in the upper deck behind home plate.
Next one up here is yours, Chance. Okay?
I got it. An error in the upper deck, but a great catch right behind home plate. You remember the days at Fulton County Stadium, and then when they first opened here, this place was jammed. No longer the case here. That's down and in. So a leadoff walk from Aaron Blair. Down to first goes Cozart. Let's take a look at the rest of the Cincinnati Reds starting lineup for Brian Price. Joey Votto in the number 2 spot. Brandon Phillips will hit third. Jay Bruce in the cleanup spot tonight, followed by the left fielder Adam Duvall, Suarez, Tyler Holt back in center field. Billy Hamilton is on the trip but remains on the 7-day concussion list. Tucker Barnhart, the switch hitting catcher, bats 8th, and Wright, the pitcher, bats in the 9th spot. Here's Joey at 231, 11 homers and 35 knocked in for the Red first baseman. While the average still in the 230 range, he's been better of late. Over 300 for a 3-week stretch, and over the last 16 games hitting at about a 290 stretch. So trying to raise the average, the power numbers right about where they should be. 11 homers and 35 knocked in. Short lead for Cozart down at first. Blair from the stretch hit hard but foul past first base coach Freddie Benavides. As usual in that first base coach's box, and as usual Billy Hatcher's down at third, flashing some signs for Cozart and Votto. No balls, 2 strikes to Joey.
Really be interesting here to see which way Aaron Blair and Pierzynski decide to pitch to Joey Votto. I mean, you'd like to get him inside if you can, but that's a hard spot to hit, especially for a pitcher that has had his share of control problems. They're going to go away.
Cozart leaning, but he does get back. Blair to the stretch. Cozart not going. That's wide. This battery of Pierzynski and Blair. Pierzynski, the veteran catcher, longtime major league catcher, spent most of his career started it in Minnesota, then a whole chunk of time with the Chicago White Sox. I mean, in his heyday would catch 100, 110 games every single year. Now here more as a mentor than anything else. Joey slashes this one down the left field line towards the corner. Long run by the left fielder Malik Smith, but it falls just out of his reach. Great effort. Boy, he came a long way. He's got some speed, Chris.
You know, he's got tremendous speed. Malik Smith does. That's probably his best asset. You know, him playing near the line like he does reminds me of the old days when Bobby Cox used to have that left fielder snug over there on that left field line against left-handed hitters, way before defensive sabermetrics or any kind of algorithms told players that they should be there. Braves have been doing that for a while.
Well, they had pitchers that would pitch specifically to their report so they could defense it because they knew their pitchers would deliver. There's a 1-2. Looked like a changeup, a little bit up, a swing and a miss by Votto, and there's strikeout number 1, out number 1. Here's your defensive alignment for the Braves. The speedy Smith is in left. Ender NCRT, another fast-paced center fielder that the Reds will see this week. And Nick Markakis, the longtime Baltimore right fielder, man's right field here. Garcia's at third. Eric Ibar's at second. Jace Peters at short. Jace Peterson at second. Then remaining fixture that you've seen here over the years, Freddie Freeman is over at first with Pierzynski behind the plate. That's your 4 defensive alignment. So 1 away, and here's Brandon. You look up and down the Braves roster every year, Chris, you see a lot of guys from Georgia and around the Atlanta area. And this is the Reds member of that group. Brandon Phillips, a lot of family and friends always come to town when he comes to Atlanta.
A lot of red in the stands here when the Reds come down here. I thought maybe in this at bat we might see Zach Cozart running. I didn't think he would see him running with Joey Votto at the plate. But against the Braves this year, the opposition has a near success rate in stolen bases up close to 90%. They've had a very difficult time shutting down the running game.
Young pitching, and Pierzynski, while he's been solid behind the plate at blocking balls, and for one period of time he set the American League record for consecutive errorless games behind home plate. His throwing game not one of his strong points.
Well, he's 39 years old. I mean, you got to get him a rocking chair.
Eddie Perez could probably still do it, though. The bullpen coach, right? One of the best catch and throw guys in the game. Popped up to the right side. Freeman coming over. Freddie's got room and he's got it. Phillips is retired. 2 away. From the old Bobby Cox era, Chris, there aren't many of those Braves left. Eddie Perez, of course, is now the bullpen coach. For many years, he was one of the key components of the 14 straight division championships that the Braves had. And Terry Pendleton, of course, still here. Once the hitting coach, now the first base coach. Well, here's Jay Bruce at 271, 14 homers and 44 knocked in. And on the hand, swing and a miss.
Tell you what, early indications are that Aaron Blair has a nice little breaking ball tonight. He struck out Joey Votto on a changeup. That was the first pitch curveball. Both of those are quality pitches for Blair. His problem has been throwing the ball where he wants to. He's got more walks than he does strikeouts on the season. But you let him through the first inning here. He walks the leadoff man to kind of get it going. That always casts a pall, you know, on the defensive team. But he's able to come right back and get Votto on a strikeout, a pop up out of Phillips, and now he's nearly out of the inning, which is huge for a young man that has lasted only 5 innings in a ball game, 1 time in the last 5 starts.
Ahead again, no balls, 2 strikes. Hit pretty good right center field on his horse. His Markakis won't get it. It's 2 hops to the wall. Around third comes Cozart. He'll score easily, and the league leader in triples just got his 6th. How about this? Jay Bruce, 6 triples on the season. He leads the league in that category, and once again he delivers for the Reds. A 3-base hit, and the Reds lead it by a score of 1-0.
Well, maybe Jay Bruce is redefining the triple as a power number rather than as a speed number.
That's good.
Of course, he may say, hey, I'm fast enough. After all, I make it to third base. Markakis takes a route on that ball that he thinks he has a chance of cutting it off and realizes that Bruce just hit it too far. And Bruce, another triple, better yet, a 2-out RBI.
So those walks come to haunt, and in this first inning it has for Atlanta. Bruce delivers, leads the team and runs batted in, chalks up another, and here's Adam Duvall, second on the Reds with 41 runs batted in at 259, 17 homers, 41 knocked in. They pull the shortstop, Ibar, way into the hole, and they've got the third baseman, Garcia, almost on the line as if it's the 8th inning, and you're protecting the ball game. This is an alignment we don't see very often, Chris.
Well, it is, because normally lefties are the ones that are getting shifted on. But man, oh man, I guess that the evidence for Duvall must be so overwhelming that they just leave the middle up, I mean, just wide open.
Ironically, he's a gap-to-gap hitter.
Well, he tries to be, but evidently when he puts the ball on the ground, he pulls the ball and pulls it hard.
2 balls, 1 strike to the Reds left fielder.
You know, part of that has to be the pitcher believing in it too. Because the last thing you want your pitcher to do is look around and you see your 2 fielders over there by third base and nobody up the middle thinking, uh-oh, what do I have to do, make a perfect pitch down and in here? You want to be able to pitch your game and let the defense do its work.
Here's the 2-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Nice little changeup there, a rare right on right changeup. Normally right-handers reserve their changeups primarily for left-handed hitters, and Johnny Cueto is the guy that recently has made that very effective, using that right on right changeup.
Setting up away is Brzezinski. This one hit deep down the left field line. If it's fair, it's going to be gone. Down the line, it is gone. A homer. How about that? Duvall hit it a mile in the air, right down the line. It kept curving, but wound up probably about 8 or 10 feet fair. So Duvall delivers his 18th home run, put a 2-run spot on the board to go along with the RBI for Bruce, and the Reds lead at 3-0.
Boy, oh boy, Aaron Blair's got to be thinking, I was 1 pitch out from getting out of this inning with no damage done at all. The triple by Bruce, and now a little, looks like a little changeup coming inside. That time got it waist high. And boy, a high, majestic home run that goes off the very top of the fair pole.
Well, it was Jay Bruce who hit a moon shot to the sun deck in Cincinnati this weekend, and that was almost identical, just a mile in the air. And by the time it comes down, the Reds have a 3-0 lead. Here's Eugenio Suarez at 231, 13 homers, 33 knocked in. So the Reds off to a good start here. 3 in the first already, a walk, a triple, and a homer. Well, Blair will go back working from the full windup, and they overshift to the left side against Suarez. 2 balls, 1 strike. Your umpiring crew for today: Adam Hamari behind the plate, Laz Diaz is at first, Marvin Hudson at second, and the crew chief Jim Joyce down at third. Missing wide, 3-1. In the corner, full count, 3-2. The Las Vegas native Aaron Blair delivering the full count to Suarez, fouled off. And he's been something else, hasn't he, Chris? Wow. High in the air to the right side. Markakis long run. Freeman's way down there. Freeman will catch up with it and haul it in. But the Reds get a little action. Adam Duvall and Jay Bruce. Bruce gets a triple, Duvall a homer, and the Reds lead it 3-0. Season began. Brian Snitker called up from the minor leagues. He's the manager after Freddie Gonzalez was relieved of his duties. And here's his starting lineup. Malik Smith will lead it off. Ender Enciardi will bat second. A couple of speed guys at the top of the lineup. Freddie Freeman, 9 homers, 18 knocked in, followed by Nick Markakis, solid right fielder and offensively too. Adonis Garcia, Brzezinski, Jace Peterson, Eric Ibar, and the pitcher Aaron Blair. That's 1 through 9. And here's the Red starter, Daniel Wright.
Well, Daniel Wright is only 25 years old. He turned that 25 in April, so he's a young man just like his counterpart Blair tonight. Really not too far from home for Daniel Wright. Was picked up by the Reds in the draft in 2013 out of Arkansas State, but he grew up in Tennessee, right outside of Memphis, which is certainly a drivable distance to Atlanta.
That's a strike, 2 balls and 1 strike to Smith. Smith facing the Reds right-hander, 25 years of age, 6'2", 205. Compact motion, kind of like the motion that the guy whose number is on his back. I said, you know who wore number 41? He said, I sure do. That's a walk, and look out because Smith can motor. Here's Ender Inciardi at 237. The homers, 5 knocked in.
Now Smith has more steals than anybody else on this team with 9 of them. But he's been caught stealing 7 times. So even though he has a lot of raw speed, he probably needs a little fine tuning of that running game.
Smith, 23 years of age, followed by Inciardi, 25. Pretty good handler of the bat. They got him going the wrong way, but the quick feed he gets back. There's Eddie Perez, who we talked about in the first base coach's box, and Bo Porter, the veteran third base coach and former manager of the Houston Astros, in the third base coach's box, flashing some signs. Pretty good lead for Smith. Not going. By the way, congratulations to the 2 first base coaches. Eddie Perez, his son, drafted by the Atlanta Braves, although he'll probably go to college, drafted on the 36th round, and Freddie Benavidez's son, drafted as well by the Reds. This one dribbled to the right side. From the stretch is right. Dribble to the right side and foul again.
I'll tell you one thing the Braves do, and if you're a right-handed pitcher, you better have your off-speed stuff working tonight, especially that changeup, because they will send out a boatload of left-handed hitters against you. The first 4 in the lineup are left-handed. Then you have Adonis Garcia, who's the only real right-handed hitter in the lineup. The next 2 are lefties. The number 8 hitter is a switch hitter. I think if they're really trying to hold the runner on at first base, Votto ought to play right on the bag, because as soon as he starts moving a couple feet in off the bag, once he starts moving into here, then it gives the base runner a chance to get a little bigger lead and not have a chance to be picked off.
And I don't know, Smith might have been going that time, but it looked like his foot slipped out from under him as he started to go. In fact, he's going back now to try to clean up the dirt. I mean, it looked very clearly like his first move was a steal move.
Watch him over here, just leading off first base. You're right, that left foot just slid, and
that's
would have been a good pitch to go on because the pitch was in the dirt.
That's a Lonnie Smith skates move. Right to the stretch, not going this time. That's inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Inciarte is the guy that they really expected to do something. A couple of years ago, when he broke into the major leagues with the Diamondbacks, he had 278. Last year he hit over 300. This year down in the 230s.
He's going this time. Is hit hard. Cozart trying to cover the bag, has it zipped by him, and it'll be first and third. Well, Zach had taken 2 steps to the bag, and the ball was hit exactly where he was. So the hit and run, or the run and hit, either way you want to call it, works to perfection for the Braves here.
This is a little bit more of what the Braves thought they would get from Inciarte. Nice short compact swing, hit the ball hard, and sharply bounces right past Zach Cozart. So Daniel Wright, who was handed a 3-run lead in the top of the first, they got a little Braves uprising going here in the bottom of the first.
The Reds will play double play depth. They'll give up a run to turn 2. They'll play deep in the infield, and you got to keep your eyes on the youngster down at third. Here comes Freddie Freeman in at 242, 9 homers, 18 knocked in. Freeman now 26 years of age. Signed an 8-year contract a couple of years ago that makes him a Brave till 2021. So similar to Joey Votto, he's signed, sealed, and delivered for a long time. Usually you look at him and he's outstanding with runners in scoring position. Last year 376, but this year he he's struggled in that capacity. An average that's been under 150 all year, and it's 122 right now.
You know, it's kind of a chicken or the egg argument. You know, what has brought Freddie Freeman down? Or have the Braves fallen because of Freddie Freeman?
That's a good point. Yep. Big swing.
I mean, he's been a very good hitter in the past. He's hit high as close to 320 in his career. He's hit, you know, he's going to average anywhere from 20 to 23 home runs for you. Play every day against righties and lefties. This year he's hitting 240.
And his strikeouts have gone up.
But you start playing for a lousy team, and sometimes you just take on lousy work habits. I mean, this team, the Braves, they started the season off by losing 9 straight. Then they win 4 in a row. They think, all right, we got something going. Well, they turn around and lose 8 straight. And at that point, you're pretty much looking at each other in the clubhouse. Can't wait for the end of September.
Jim Beecham, the oldest coach here, used to call it the Dale Murphy effect. Remember when Murph was a perennial all-star and always a MVP candidate, and when the talent around him, here's the 2-1 delivery. Swing and a miss, 2-2. When the talent went down, people started to pitch around him, and all of a sudden his strike zone went from a normal strike zone. He expanded it because he thought he had to deliver the big hit all the time, and all of a sudden he's a 220 hitter.
And that's probably the same thing that Freddie Freeman's going through.
2 balls, 2 strikes. That's up high. Will go full. 3-2. Nick Markakis on deck for the Braves. There goes the runner, and it's fouled off. Well, the benefit of having Brian Snitker as your manager now, he's had many of these young players that are coming through the system while they've come through the system. Guy that's always exhibited a lot of patience, a veteran baseball guy, 40 years in the Braves organization, outstanding teacher, so he knows their strengths and he knows some of their weaknesses. Runner going again. This one ripped. That's a base hit. Going to get a run in. Might even get 2 in. Around second, going to third will be NCRT. He'll stop there. So the Braves bounce right back. A walk, a single. They're on the board. It's a 3-1 score. Here comes Markakis.
Freeman gets a pitch on a 3-2 count where Daniel Wright simply has to throw a strike. 91, splits the center of the plate. Freeman drops the hammer on it.
So Freeman's on, and here comes Markakis. Still no one out. And once again, they'll split the infield at double play depth, trying to get a pair, and they'll give up the run. From the stretch is right. Markakis, now 32 years of age, signed a 4-year deal here 2 years ago in 2014. Boy, he was a fixture in Baltimore, and really the Orioles have been trying to replace him ever since he left. Hit hard. 4, 6, 3. Double play. The Reds get 2. They'll give up a run. They still lead at 3-2.
Well, a good trade-off for the team right there, even though it does make it a 1-run ball game. If you're Daniel Wright, you're not happy. After being spotted 3, you give up 2. But at least now the bases are empty, and you've just got 1 out to get against the only true right-handed hitter in this lineup.
Their 51st double play of the year and their 7th double play in the last 4 games. The double plays helped them a ton in the last few games. There's Garcia at 236, couple of homers and 12 knocked in. Two and 0. Garcia's got the average up to 236. It was in the 210 range. Had 3 hits on Friday night to try to get on track. This is a Braves team that is mix and match, and they figure to be that way for the next couple of years. Not only do they have they had high draft picks, but also they've made some deals to bring in young players. And by most acknowledged accounts, Chris, they've got maybe the best pool of young pitchers coming through the minor leagues to the major leagues, but they're still 2-3 years away from seeing that up here. Swing and a miss.
That sounds like what we used to hear all the time. A couple of general managers ago, when you'd ask about the prospects, they'd say all of our best guys are down at A-ball. And it was like that for 10 years. At least now we've got them in AAA.
And hard
and
to
they're
short.
ready to go.
Cozart takes care of it. That'll do it. But the leadoff walk for both pitchers comes back to haunt in the first inning. After one, the Reds lead at 3-2. Bringing the energy numbers. Reds on the road. Last 6 games been pretty good. The average over 300. And they started, remember, winning 3 of their first 21 games. They averaged only 3 runs a game. The last road trip, they averaged over 7, and they hope to keep it going. They're off to a good start right here. It's our IGS Bringing the Energy's numbers on the night. Here's Blair in the second. Tyler Holt will lead it off, trying to bunt his way on, pops it up. Fortunately, it'll be in the seats. Everybody was converging on that one as soon as it went in the air,
including the cotton candy man.
he almost lost his whole stash for the night. That could wipe you out, couldn't it? I saw you waving at him.
I keep trying to get his attention. He just refuses to look up here.
Is that vegetarian?
Absolutely.
That's up and in. To Holt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
All natural. Nothing but cane sugar in that. And a little coloring.
There's Tyler at 278. Always provides you energy. Always provides you a spark. Back in the starting lineup in center today.
Just really love Holt's intensity.
Yep.
I mean, he's a guy that would love to play every day, but I think he realizes where his place is in the major leagues. And he knows the caliber of hustle that he has to bring every day, or he wouldn't be in the major leagues.
Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Some guys just make it on pure talent. I mean, they show up and they can hit and they can throw and they can run and they're off the charts, you know, grading on all those accounts. Then you got guys that just make it on grit and enthusiasm.
2 balls, 2 strikes. That'll be strikeout number 2 for Blade. Out number 1 of the second inning, and here comes Tucker Barnhart. Blair grew up in Las Vegas, went to Marshall University. In fact, the highest ever draft pick out of Marshall. And Chris, he played for one of our favorite guys, Jim Tracy, who was our USA baseball manager for the Pan Am games. And boy, did he perform for him. In fact, on that team, Trace had Nate Smith out of Lakota West and Scotty McGregor out of Lakota East. So a couple local pitchers, and they beat Cuba 3 times. That tells you something. 1 ball, no strikes. Have you taken any money from Trace on the golf course of late?
I haven't get him to return my calls yet. I'm hoping any one of these days he's going to show up and have a nice low handicap.
You got to give him strokes.
Oh, no. He wouldn't take him.
1 ball, 1 strike. How much you want to bet?
Sounds like you're his agent.
1 and 2. With Devin Mesoraco down, Tucker Barnhart, the #1 catcher, Brian Price trying to give him a Barolo here or there and give him a day off once in a while. With the heat of this summer, you just can't catch 6
you
or
gotta
7
like
days a
what
week.
you see early on from Aaron Blair and that changeup of his. That's what he just struck out Tucker Barnhart on. He previously got Joey Votto to swing and miss on the same pitch. Got good arm action that time, had good sinking action on it.
2 away. Here's Wright. First pitch swinging, skies it in the infield. Who's going to take charge? Garcia will, and that'll do it. Well, after a 29-pitch first inning, it's an easy second inning for Blair. Reds still lead at 3-2. A 10-pitch inning for Blair.
For the Reds, Duvall, Holt, and Bruce around the outfield. Suarez, Cozart, Phillips, and Votto in your infield. The battery of Barnhart and Daniel Wright. Gentlemen, you were talking about Tyler Holt, the energy guy, and knowing his place in baseball. Brian Price likened it to the Johnny Gomes effect, accepting his role and thriving in it. And I have never seen a guy that won. As you look at some great plays that he made over the weekend, he just provides terrific defense and energy. But in the clubhouse, he is a guy that Brian Price says will poke any bear. And guys love to make fun of him. In fact, I'm not sure if I've seen anyone who gets ragged on more in a clubhouse than Tyler Holt, and they wouldn't do it if they didn't love the guy. Jay Bruce said he's just a ball player, man.
That's it, JD. He is the Reds' energy guy. Here's a slicing fly ball to left. Adam Duvall is there. Just like you, you're our energy guy. Night in and night out. Down by the dugout to keep up on things. Only Josh Hall does more work away from the ballpark to stay in shape as you do. Did you go running today, JD? Why is there silence, Chris?
Yeah. I ran down to catch the bus.
That's it.
And if you want to compare me to Tyler Holt, no one gets ragged on more than me on this crew.
You're the best, JD. You're the best. I tell you, Chris, Tyler played last year for your old friend Ken Schnocky at Columbus. He was in the Indians organization, and I mean, Schnocky loved him for what he did for that ball club, and he helped them. There's a broken bat up the middle, backhanded by Phillips, but he can't hold on. And Jace Peterson will be on. 1 out and 1 on. Peterson, base hit through the middle. And almost single-handedly, Holt came up with a series of defensive plays that helped to get Columbus all the way to the final game for the AAA World Series.
You know, the one basic thing that pitchers can do to improve their fielding, and I heard this from Fernando Valenzuela, I think the year he won a Gold Glove, was simply get your glove down to the ground. Pitchers have a tendency to put their glove down to about shin high and hope the ball bounces up to it.
Ripped over the head of Votto into the corner. This may bring home a run. Peterson can move. Is around second, going to third. He's going to score. Around second, going all the way to third. Here's the throw. It'll be late. And Eric Ibar has a triple.
No, they got him.
They got him. They're calling him out. Wow. Great job by first Jay Bruce to dig it out, and then secondly Brandon Phillips.
Really strong throw by Phillips on this. Bruce goes gets him, and the key for an outfielder right here is pick it up and get rid of it in a hurry. Look how quickly he got it and on a line to the relay man, and that strong throw by Brandon Phillips. Man, that's a good D.
They were waiting by the dugout to see if the Braves were going to challenge, and they waved it off. Take another look.
That's
he gets
a
the
great
hand
play
on the shoulder before the hand gets to the bag. There's another bouncer back towards the middle. Phillips, the perennial Gold Glove candidate, comes up with 2 Gold Glove plays, one a throw and the other a backhand. But we're tied at 3 going to the third. '16 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot now at Reds.com on your computer, tablet, or your smartphone. Vote up to 35 times. Vote today. Vote tomorrow at Reds.com/vote. Here we go to the third. Cozart led it off in the first with a walk. Scored on a triple by Bruce. Bruce scored on the homer by Adam Duvall. Those are the 3 Reds runs. Braves have battled back with 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and we are back even Steven as we go to the third. Game time temperature 90 degrees. The temperature was in the upper 90s today in the Atlanta area, and more of the same for the next couple of days.
Of course, nobody who lives down here complains about it. It's only us Northerners that come down here and complain about it.
I'll take this over snow anytime.
Well, they get that here too.
Yeah. Cozart rips this towards left. Smith is over. He'll hold him to a single.
Can this guy hit a fastball or what?
He can.
I mean, a 2-0 count. He's got to figure 24-year-old pitcher. Pierzynski's thinking, I'm not letting this guy walk Cozart again. And he throws a fastball. That may have even been borderline out of the zone high. And he just rips it into left field for a base hit.
I think you put him in the category of Aaron Boone on a high fastball, right? I mean, like automatic. Here's Joey, struck out in the first inning. Steady diet of off speed, either breaking balls or a changeup, and there's a swing and a miss on the changeup. Missing on the inside corner. Joey, 11 homers on the year, sitting on 203 for his career. That ties him with ED Eric Davis, 9th on the all-time list. Next up, Ken Griffey Jr., 8th at 210, and of course next month is Junior's month at Cooperstown. There's a bouncer wide of first and foul. He'll go into the Hall of Fame along with Mike Piazza. And on a week where we talked about all the #1 picks, whether it's the Reds or the Braves or the Phillies, an unbelievable year when you consider here's a #1 pick, Ken Griffey Jr., and another guy going into the Hall of Fame who was picked on the 62nd round 1,000 players later. Still made it to Cooperstown. One ball, 2 strikes.
The same pitch that Blair had Joey Votto swinging through in the first inning for strike 3. That time Votto laid off the changeup.
Two 2. That's wide. We'll go full 3 and 2. Goes the runner. It's fouled at the plate. Cozart going again. That's wide, ball 4. That's the second walk allowed by Blair and his 3rd full count of the first 3 innings of baseball. And here comes Brandon, who popped out first time up.
Before Aaron Blair was promoted by the Braves to the big league club, he was in Gwinnett. That's their AAA franchise, and he was really tearing up the league. He had struck out more batters than innings pitched. His walks were way down, but what he's experiencing here is what so many pitchers experience when they come to the big leagues, which is a smaller strike zone and much more patient hitters. That's why here in the big leagues already this year he's walked about as many as he has struck out, which is never a good ratio.
Pierzynski rolls through his signs. 2 on for the Reds, nobody out. Here's Brandon, middle of the infield, double play depth. Missing down and away.
Hey, the funny thing that Blair does is delivery. You know, it's a very solid delivery, it looks like, from the stretch position. But when he goes into the full windup, he's got a big twisting part of his hip that I think kind of throws him out of whack a little bit. But he needs a strike here, and the Reds can take advantage with a couple of key hits in this inning.
Brzezinski setting up down and away. That's way down and away for another ball, and it's 2-0. Man rustling around in the dugout, getting a little bit antsy, is Roger McDowell, the veteran pitching coach, Cincinnati native.
He's a good one.
You're not kidding. Good guy, good pitching coach. 2 for 2. That's wide, and we'll go 3-0.
I'm green lighting Brandon Phillips right here. If he likes to swing 3-0, you go ahead and give him the green light. Likely to get a fastball. If it's right where he wants it, let it rip.
Ball 4. A single and 2 walks. The bases are loaded here in the third, and here comes Jay Bruce, who tripled last time.
I don't think there was a pitch in that at bat even close.
And here comes the Raja. Roger McDowell will come out. He won't walk. He'll trot out there to talk to his young righty. So a whole different McGill, Chris, when you're dealing with a very young pitching staff, how you handle it, how you make those visits to the mound compared to a veteran staff, huh?
Well, you know, when you're rebuilding, you ask your fans to be patient. And you also have to ask your coaches to be patient. Roger McDowell over the years has coached some of the best pitchers in Braves history. And now he's got a younger pitching staff, and you know, when you're just struggling to throw strikes, it's a whole different conversation that he's used to having out there with most of the major leaguers that have come through here.
There's Jay. They're loaded. Tripled in a run, a league leading 6th triple of the season for Bruce. That's down low for ball 1. Bruce sitting on 14 homers for the year, and for his career 4 grand slams. There's a strike. And it's 1-1.
How about that for Aaron Blair? He walks the bases loaded after giving up a hit. And then he throws back-to-back changeups to start the at-bat with Jay Bruce. Bruce hit a fastball for a triple in the gap.
He's working from the stretch with the bases loaded. Down low.
Another changeup.
Well, one thing is clear. I mean, if you watch the Braves for any length of time, and tonight's a good example, he's throwing what Brzezinski puts down. There's very little shaking against.
Well, there's no doubt, but I mean, your changeup really only works once you've established your fastball, and you've got to throw that for strikes to establish it.
2-1. And now it's his 3rd straight 3-ball count. Jay digs in, sitting on 14 homers. To the right side, but foul. Down the right field line. We'll go full 3-2. Adam Duvall, who drilled his 18th homer of the year in the on-deck circle. Already 58 pitches were in the 3rd, and just activated today. Ryan Weber's getting up, starting to loosen in the bullpen for the Braves. Might have swung at ball 4. We'll try it again, 3-2. Still from the stretch. Here's the 3-2 with the bases loaded. Bruce fouls another. Reds got 3 in the first. The Braves 2 in their half of the first and another to tie it. The Reds threatening to take another big lead here in the third. 3-2. Blair to Bruce, and that's ball 4. His third walk of the inning. He'll walk in the go-ahead run. It's 4-3 Cincinnati. So a 2 RBI night already for Jay Bruce. And you figure Duvall may very well be his last batter if he does not get him. Brian Snitker looking closely, and Roger McDowell on the phone checking with the bullpen as the young righty Weber loosens. Still double play depth middle of the infield. Here's Adam. High pop up, but it'll be out of play in the seats. Talk about a moonshot, Chris. Home run number 18 sure was.
It sure was. He got a little, looked like an off-speed pitch on the inner part of the plate, and we knew it was high enough and far enough. The question was, would it stay fair? And when it hits the top of the fair pole and falls straight down, well, he's hit so many of them, he doesn't even get excited anymore.
Act like you've been there before, huh? He's been outstanding on the field, and he's solid off the field. Here's the strike 1 delivery, and it's 0-2. I know you talked to him. I talked to him too about what was not the kind of ending that everyone expected for the Louisville baseball team. They had such a tremendous year this year, and on the way to Omaha, they stumbled this weekend, but you can't take away the great year they had.
They had a terrific year. They've got a good coach. They had a lot of young men that are going to go on and play professional baseball. And you know, you lose a game like they did on a walk-off grand slam, and that's the way baseball goes.
High in the air to center field. Enciardi back. He'll be at the warning track. He'll haul it in. Tag it at third, and scoring will be Cozart. Going to third will be Phillips. So a sacrifice fly. Third run batted into the day from Adam Duvall. Down in the count 0-2, he still delivers a good swing, and the Reds lead it 5-3. So now first and third. Here comes Suarez, who popped out to end the first inning. Bruce down at first, Phillips down at third. Behind the third base bag, Billy Hatcher rolls through some signs, and Bruce takes a bigger lead off first. There's the 1-ball delivery. Another high fly ball to center. This will get another run in. Tagging at third is Phillips. He'll score easily. Bruce goes halfway and retreats. So a single and 3 walks and 2 sacrifice flies, and the Reds have played add-on. They lead it 6-3. You know, it doesn't always take a base hit, does it? Just a productive out.
Well, I mean, those guys are just waiting down there for you to drive them in with a fly ball. So even, you know, what Ted Williams used to say about flying out to center field, it's worse than striking out because it shows you have a lazy swing. But with a runner on third base, you'll take that lazy swing and change him an RBI.
Brandon walked, advanced to third, scores on the Suarez RBI, his 34th RBI of the season. Here's Tyler, struck out first time up in the second. It's been a tale of the odd innings for Blair. He gave up 3 in the first, had a 1-2-3 10-pitch second, and here in the third he's given up 3 more.
The difference is which part of the lineup he's throwing to. In the first inning, obviously, you're throwing to the top of the lineup. Second inning, he had 7, 8, and 9, so he took care of that part very easily. Now you roll it over again to the top of the lineup, and that's when the Reds have done their damage.
Barnhart on deck. There goes Bruce, and it's pop foul and out of play. We've seen the Reds move the runners much more often in the last couple of weeks, Chris. Brian Price doing a little more run and hit and running on this ball club. So Holt's in another 0-2 hole. In the air, caught by the second baseman Peterson, but the Reds bring 7 to the plate in the third, score 3 more, lead at 6-3. Club for the 116th U.S. Open Championship. Live coverage begins Thursday on FS1, continues through the final round on Sunday on Fox. You can watch it all live on Fox Sports Go. We'll hear from some of our players on who they think will win. One of the big 3 this week, Chris?
Always hard to project that, George, but I can tell you that they have a par 3 that's 288 yards. Kind that we'd hit it 2 or 3 times just to get there.
Is it near water? That's one place you got to play, right?
It's on my list.
It's on your list. You didn't play today. No golf today.
Now we're saving up our energy for tomorrow. I'll give you a full report tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks to Joe Simpson. We'll be up at the Atlanta National tomorrow.
Always great to come to Atlanta to see outstanding broadcasters and people. Joe Simpson broadcast here, and of course Hall of Famer Don Sutton, Chip Carey, a lot of good folks down here. And Chris, over all those years coming to town, seeing Bobby Cox and the whole crew. Let's see what's going on. Brian Price out of the dugout, talking to the home plate umpire. See, JD, what's going on down there?
Well, they were wondering whether or not the batter was out of the batter's box when he bunted the ball, but home plate umpire Adam Hamari looked at Brian Price and said, hey, it's a foul ball. So that's what they're discussing right now.
Jim Joyce talking to Brian, and Brian nodding his head, so whatever they did discuss, he's with them. It's okay for the Reds manager.
I don't think that was quite the explanation they probably were trading. Jim Joyce knows the rules, and if a batter hits the ball with not both feet in the batter's box, if one foot is completely out of the box, and it's not, the line is part of the batter's box. So as long as the batter has any part of his foot on any part of that line, even if part of the foot is on the home plate, he's still considered in the box. And I think that's probably where Brian Price was saying, well, he must have been out of the box if his foot was on the base.
Didn't even look like it. I mean, it didn't even look that close. We've seen a lot more closer violations than that. Smith walked his first time up and scored. This one bounced to the right side. Can't waste any time with him coming down the line. They'll get him.
Booth scooting it.
So one away, and here's NCRD. '25-year-old center fielder. He can go get him, and he's got an accurate throwing arm, gets rid of it quickly. Defensively, he's been outstanding. Offensively, struggling at 237. He singled his first time up, though.
Well, he's another one of those young guys that came over in the trade with Arizona. They picked up the pitcher Blair, 24 years old. Ender Inciarte is only 25, and of course, maybe the key to that whole trade was the #1 pick from last year out of the draft, Dansby Swanson, shortstop from Vanderbilt. That was picked by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Before he really moved up the ladder in the minor leagues there at all, he was dealt to the Atlanta Braves, and recently, I believe, was minor league player of the month in the Braves organization.
He hasn't missed a beat. They've got 3 outstanding young shortstops coming through the organization right now.
Well, if your shortstops coming through the organization, you can always find another position. If you're a left fielder and you got 3 of them coming up, it's hard to find different positions for those kind of guys.
And you could put Peraza on that list. I mean, he was one of. There's a line drive to left. Here comes Duvall, and he got it. He held on. Adam Duvall, another outstanding effort towards the line. Gets a glove on it, holds on, and robs NCRD of at least a double, maybe more.
I was looking at some defensive rankings the other day, George, and not just only among outfielders, but among all players in baseball. And Adam Duvall is on that list of the most runs saved by defense. As a left fielder, one of the best out there.
There's Freddie Freeman. Singled in a run in the first. You know, by and large, if you're a shortstop, you can play everywhere. And you know, as a high schooler, he was a shortstop. Played some third as well. Reds overshift to the right side against Freeman. Hit hard. That's going to go over Votto into the corner. Long run for Bruce. Freddie will have a double. Freeman picks up the 2-bagger. And he's in scoring position with 2 outs here in the third.
Now, the last thing the Reds want to see is Freddie Freeman get hot in the beginning of a 4-game set down here.
You talk often about, you know, into the wheelhouse of a left-hander in this day and age. You know, Joey Votto isn't one of those guys. Freddie Freeman's like an old throwback. That is his wheelhouse.
Low and in.
So he's in scoring position. Here's Markakis, who bounced into a double play. That plated a run in the first. Very valuable guy in a ball club. One of the key elements to the Orioles for so many years. Left as a free agent. Surprised a lot of people in Baltimore and a lot of people around baseball. And really the Orioles have been trying to replace him ever since. I mean, he can be your leadoff hitter. He can be your number 2 hitter. He can be your number 3, or today he's the number 4 hitter on this club. And you wonder come July, when teams that are in a pennant race might need that extra outfielder, might the Braves part with him for more young talent? That one falls into the dugout, and Suarez takes 4 steps into the dugout himself. The Braves just traded Kelly Johnson this past week back to the Mets, his second stint with the Mets.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to that time of year when trade talk will be, really front page news around baseball publications. Up until now, you're talking about the amateur draft, and now most front offices, now that they've got that draft underway, their eyeballs are looking at the trade deadline. And some teams, of course, will be buyers, others will be sellers. Sellers may include probably the Braves and the Reds.
Bruce Keeson, Jeff Datz right in the middle of your screen right there. A couple of old-time Major League favorites. Good guys, Chris. A lot of scouts here, and as you head towards, now that the draft is over, you're right, those scouts who have been looking at amateur talent are now starting to look for talent to solve their needs.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys, who are following teams around are not just doing advanced scouting. I mean, they're looking at teams, and the way a lot of teams break and scout down is they'll say, all right, I'm going to give you 5 teams, and we want you to know everything there is about that organization.
Hit hard. Votto has it go through his legs, and it'll head down the line. A run will score. Votto tagged with an error, and going into second will be Markakis. So it's a 6-4 game. He went down on one knee, but it squirmed just past him to the left side of his glove and down the line.
Looked very awkward going after that ball. We've watched Joey Votto at home, and he works as hard on his defense as anybody, including Brandon Phillips, including anybody else in the infield. And he just didn't get down low enough on that ball. I guess the same thing that applies to pitchers can apply to first baseman. Just get your glove all the way down.
There's Garcia, bounced out in the first. So not only does the error allow a run to score, but Markakis makes it all the way to second. He's in scoring position for Garcia. In the air, right center field. Long run. Will anybody get there? It is off the wall. Another run will score. Stopping at second will be Garcia. So instead of ending the inning with no run scoring, the arrow opens the door. 2 runs have scored. The double by Garcia makes it a 6-5 ball game.
Garcia has some power, and he shows it right here. He gets a ball out over the plate and just drives it a long, long way. And that's a big ballpark here in Atlanta to clear going opposite field.
So now Garcia is in scoring position, and here comes Brzezinski, and here comes Mark Riggins, the Reds pitching coach, to try to settle down his right-hander, now sitting at 55 pitches here in the 3rd inning. First time we get the tomahawk chop.
Tucker Barnhart could write a novel as long as War and Peace just by quoting what Mark Riggins has said to pitchers on his trips to the mound this year. I mean, that's how many times he has been out there. I don't know about you, I'd read it.
Now, you've been a youth coach. You got that back pocket. What am I going to talk about this time, right? Which page am I going to?
Please stop looking at those airplanes and look at the batter.
And yes, we will have ice cream after the game. There's Brzezinski, fly to left first time up. So the Reds get a 3-run lead. Braves come back to tie it. The Reds get another 3-run lead, and they've come back within 1, 6-5. Center field, Holt right there though. Braves will strand a runner, but they get 2. It's 6-5 as we head to the 4th. When Pete Rose is inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame, arrive early for a pregame on-field ceremony, receive a commemorative Pete Rose poster presented by Yucatan Guacamole. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. Tucker Barnhart leads it off, top of 4. Reds by 1, 6-5. 6 runs, 3 hits for the Reds. They were aided by 3 walks in the 3rd inning. They got 3 runs on only 1 hit. For the Braves, 5 runs on 6 hits. And right away, 2 balls, no strikes from the young right-hander, and out goes Brzezinski to talk to him. Chris, you talk about it often, the importance of a shutdown inning. You get 3, you want to shut it down the next inning, and vice versa. It goes for both of these pitchers tonight.
I just don't see this young man repeating his delivery enough to throw quality strikes in the big leagues, as complicated as he makes it. I mean, the fewer moving parts you have, the better. And he really gets a big hip turn. I know he gets a little bit more action on the fastball from getting his hips into it and so on, but when he kind of winds up and then twists his whole body so that his left knee, his lift knee, almost points back to the shortstop. And the whole idea with pitching is that you get to the same spot every time, with your knee up at the highest point, your balance point, and then you go to the plate starting from the same spot. Hitters want to do the same thing.
Full count, 3-2. And a roller to the right side. Peterson has it, 1 away.
We'll see it from motion from the side a little bit. Just watch his knee a little bit as it really points back there. And now he's got to swing all the way around with that leg. There's a little more efficient way to do it. I'm sure Roger McDowell's worked on it. But, you know, when you're in the big leagues, you're more worried about getting hitters out than you are refining your delivery. So you may learn something in your bullpen session, but it just doesn't carry over to the game.
No balls, 1 strike to Daniel Wright, the Reds pitcher. I guess there's a fine line as you work with a young pitcher that you want them to be comfortable with what got them signed and would help to make them successful. But there comes a point in time where you say this isn't going to work in the major leagues.
Well, the big leagues have a way of weeding out those that don't belong here yet. And even on a rebuilding ball club, and you know, hey, 24 years old. I mean, there are a lot of 24-year-olds still down there in AA. So you may say he's ahead of schedule and learning on the job, but it's not an easy thing to do, to go out there and get whooped up on every time. I mean, he's lasted 5 innings only 1 time in his last 5 starts.
That's a bouncer to short. Quick flip from Ibar, and Wright's retired. 2 away. And don't forget, Wednesday on an all-new Reds Weekly, a full recap of the Reds draft from the past weekend. Michael Lorenzen preparing to be an important piece of the Reds bullpen in the very near future. We'll talk about him, and after being a player in the Reds farm system, Julio Morello is now contributing to the big league club. All that and more on the all-new Reds Weekly, Wednesday night at 6 right here on Fox Sports Ohio.
What a nice young man Julio is.
He sure is.
He's the translator for the club, and not only that, but he's filling in and doing a lot of scouting work, helping Mac Jenkins out in that department, getting reports together, getting videos of the opposition and of their own players together, and he's been a good asset to this ball club.
Popped up behind the plate, will be out of play. No balls, 2 strikes to Cozart, who's been on base twice. He walked and scored in the first, singled and scored in the third. Now Julio's one of, you talk about an energy guy and Tyler Holt. Julio's one of those guys, he looks for things to do. I mean, whether it's Rick Stowe or Rob Coughlin or whoever, He's going to help out any way he can. He's a pleasant young man, a catcher in the Reds organization. So you know he knows the game.
Well, right now the Reds don't. I mean, every team has to carry a translator with them. And right now the Reds really don't have a need with Raisel Iglesias, the only player on the team that really needs help when, you know, doing an interview.
High fly ball to left. Malik Smith under it. Well, in the odd innings, the Reds have scored 6. In the even innings, it's been 2 1-2-3 innings for Blair. Being brought to you tonight by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on United States News Best Children's Hospitals. Downtown Atlanta, just off Peachtree Street, and of course there's about 100 Peachtree Streets around Atlanta.
Actually, there are only 27.
I know. Seems that way, especially when you get lost, right? 6-5 Reds lead it. New pitcher for the Reds, J.C. Ramirez, will take over for Daniel Wright, who goes 3 innings, allows 6 hits and 5 runs. Chris, here comes J.C. Ramirez.
He's a hard thrower, J.C. is. His friends call him Juan Carlos Ramirez, 27 years old. The Reds picked him up off the waiver wire. He's pitched a lot more often than Daniel Wright. You know, one of the things that may have been a problem with Wright is that he has not pitched very much. He's been up for 3 weeks, but he's only been in 2 previous games for the Reds. So he could have had a little rust right there, but they got him out of the ball game and after 3 innings. So now J.C. Ramirez, he gives you a few good innings, and the Reds hold on to the lead. This could be one of those vulture wins.
57 pitches for Daniel Wright. I mean, again, he hadn't been in the starting rotation for a while, so he goes 57 pitches in 3 innings. The 6 hits, 5 runs. 3 of those 5 were earned, 2 unearned after the Joey Votto error at first. 1 away. Peterson flies out to center, and here's Ibar. Ibar double back in the second. Nothing short about J.C. Ramirez's arm. It's just a question of location, location, location.
Not a guy to give up on. No. At 27 years old, you know, if you can figure out a way to throw the ball over the plate more consistently, you know, 98 miles an hour doesn't fall off a tree. That last pitch at 96.
Now, Chris, you could liken him a little bit to Jumbo Diaz. He came up a couple of years ago, got himself in a groove, and the Reds are hopeful he'll get back in a groove and could be a contributor up here again. Well, he's just like J.J. Hoover.
I mean, he is. Jumbo's definitely in a groove right now. I don't even know if he's given up a run down in Louisville since he's been back down there. But there is a difference.
Here's Aaron Blair. Bounced out first time up. Off the plate. Ramirez will grab it, and they'll get the out. So an easy 1-2-3 for JC in the fourth. Votto, Phillips, Bruce due up.
I'm Jim Day. It is the final year of Turner Field. The Braves are moving north, way north, up to Cobb County. SunTrust Park is being built as we speak, and they are calling it the future Taj Mahal of baseball. Going to be a 41,000-seat stadium, 20% smaller than Turner Field. Braves are calling it the perfect marriage of a classic ballpark field, modern amenities with Southern hospitality. The project around it is named the Battery Atlanta, and they are saying it's going to be the preeminent sports and entertainment venue in the country, lively shopping and entertainment district, accessible 365 days a year. Now, it's been met with mixed emotions here in Atlanta. One, this ballpark's only 20 years old here. And two, even though the Braves say that they're ticket based, most of their ticket buyers are from the northern parts of Atlanta. It's going to be a traffic nightmare. It's where 75 and 285 meet, one of the busiest stretches of highway in all of the United States. So it's going to be interesting how it unfolds.
So we got a new place that we can track down on Jim Day's day off.
You mean Jim Day saying it's going to be a great place, but you can't get there?
Like Yogi said, right? Nobody goes there anymore because it's too crowded. JD, by the way, you're filming some new commercials, huh?
Yeah, we did last week. Those will be debuting in the next couple of weeks.
Can you give us a hint of what you were eating? 1 ball, 2 strikes to Votto.
Now, does it always have to be eating with me?
Well, that's what you do.
I didn't do any eating on these spots.
Okay.
Now
that's a hint. That's a hint.
Yeah, there you go. No eating on these spots.
Could be riding his bike up the trail with you, Chris. Could be.
Wow, you nailed it. I will be riding a bike.
Aha. 1 and 2. Could be canoeing on the river.
Both good activities. Have not seen Jim Day out there on the bike trail. Maybe next time during the homestand we'll see him out there.
Now you weren't with us this weekend. Were you trailing this weekend?
I was on the trail this weekend.
Here's the 1-2 to Votto. That's a little weird.
I just do a little loop between Milford and Loveland and back. Even on a hot day, half of it's covered with, underneath trees. It's in the shade. I think it's one of the best kept secrets in Cincinnati.
A little loop. How long is that?
About 18 or 19 miles.
That's a good loop.
Well, there's cold brews at one end.
Didn't expect anything different. 2-2. Inside. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Votto, who struck out in the first. 1 of 3 walks in the third. And once again, a 3-ball count for Blair and his 7th full count. nubbed into center. Got in on the fist, but Joey got enough of it to get a base hit out of it. So Joey's 1 for 2. The leadoff hitter's on, and you got to figure that he'll have a short leash here in the 5th inning, Chris.
Well, he's pushing 100 pitches that were only in the 5th inning. Blair is. I mean, he's walked so many. When he went through this order the last time, he went walk, walk, walk in a row. Votto, Phillips, and Bruce. 2 of them had already come around to score.
Here's Brandon, popped up and walked. Scored a run in the 3rd. I remember George Bamberger, the great pitching coach of the Orioles, and of course later a manager in the major leagues as well, saying, you know, I don't even want to start to tinker or evaluate with a pitcher until he's had at least 300 innings in the minor leagues. That doesn't happen very often anymore because they rush people. And you know, Blair's had just a little over 300 innings in the minor league. So you're beginning to get an idea who he's going to be, what he's going to be.
A lot of times it depends when you get a kid out of high school or college. 300 innings for a kid coming out of high school in the minor leagues is not uncommon at all. But when you get a pitcher coming out of college as a junior or a senior, then 300 innings sometimes is a redundancy if he comes out as a polished pitcher. And then there's also a rush nowadays, George. I mean, with the frequency of Tommy John surgeries, and if you've got a real hard thrower, you know, a lot of ball clubs are thinking, hey, let's use this guy while he's healthy, while he's throwing 97 and pain-free. Yeah. Let's use him before his arm blows out, because we know sooner or later it's likely to do so.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Brandon Phillips. Now at 98 pitches on the mound is Blair, and up for the 3rd time Ryan Weber. He's probably thrown about a similar amount in the bullpen already. No, Weber's up tossing. Got him to pop it up. Freeman backing up under it, got it for the 1st out. 1 away, 1 on, and here's Jay Bruce. Remember in the days of Leo Mazzoni, you came down here, you'd spend a lot of time with him. And of course, I mean, who wouldn't spend time with Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, Lee Brandt, Avery, Merker, that whole crew. I mean, they were a treasure to be around because they talked pitching, they believed in pitching. And when they established the game plan here for pitchers, everybody adhered to it, and it worked.
Well, one of the things that the Braves did that I thought was very interesting when they had those guys coming through here, George, is that they would throw on the side 2 times in between starts, and they would never throw hard. I mean, the theory was you're never going to get anybody out in the bullpen, so why would you go down there and throw it 100%? So they have 2 workouts in the bullpen rather than just 1, and all of those pitchers thought that really helped their groove a little bit.
I think it's 2 pop-ups on change-ups, and there's 2 outs with the runner on, so Blair saving himself here in the 5th. And here's Duvall. Adam, a 2-run home run in the 1st gave the Reds a 3-0 lead. Then a sacrifice fly to deep center field gave the Reds a 5-3 lead in the 3rd. From the stretch towards the hole at short, the backhand play to second. Nice play by Ibar, and they'll get the run. So the Reds get a leadoff hit from Votto, nothing to show for it. Going to the bottom of 5, Reds by 1-6-5. All brought to you by T-Mobile. The players of week in the National League. John Lester, a 2-0 record, 15 innings pitched, 16 strikeouts, no walks, allowed only 9 hits. And Chris Davis, the American League Player of the Week, 368 average, 5 homers, 10 knocked in. Hit a home run in 5 straight games for the second time in his career. Our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball. There's J.C. Ramirez's second inning of work, dealing with the top of the order this time. Alex Smith, who walked and bounced out. If you joined us late, Reds got 3 in the first to take a 3-0 lead. Triple by Bruce and a 2-run home run by Duvall produced those runs. Braves came right back in the bottom of the first. Base hits from Freeman and a double play ground out gave them 2. They tied it on a double by Ibar in the second, 3-3. Here's the 0-2. Bounced over Ramirez. That'll be a base hit. From Alex Smith, a leadoff hit. 9 stolen bases for him. He may be off and running.
You know, Alex Smith is a young man that really should adopt the same type of batting style that does Billy Hamilton, which is be pesky in the box, foul pitches off, slap at it, get the ball on the ground, because he's got speed to burn. He may not be as fast as Hamilton, but he's in the same category.
9 stolen bases, leading the rookies in the league. Here's NCRT, singled and lined to left. There he goes, got a big break. Barnhart's throw will not be in time. Does he stay on the bag? He does. Well, he got a 3-step break on J.C. Ramirez. Barnhart made it a lot closer than you thought it would be.
You know, if you really think that a fielder or a runner is going to go in that at bat, sometimes it's worth throwing over one time, even if you don't have a good move. Throw over there.
Does he stay on the bag when the tag is on him? You know, he's out. He got off the bag. I don't know. We'll see if they're going to. There's no challenge coming from the Reds
now.
But it looks like he bounces off the bag, and the tag was still in contact, but no challenge from the Reds.
The question, though, was the glove on him when he was off the bag?
Jim Riggleman on the phone with Rob Coughlin back in the Reds clubhouse. No challenge from the Reds.
So much more to consider when you're managing a game nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing you don't have any more to consider, though, is what you're going to say to an umpire when you're going to go out there and argue a call.
Take a look.
There's
Still making contact.
The tag on him?
Yeah, he's still making contact.
Interesting. Oh.
I mean, he got back on, but for that one moment after his leg hit and before his hand touched. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to NCRT. There goes the runner. There's a hard hit ball. The run will go to third. They'll get the out at first. Well, the top of this order is starting to do what the Braves want to do when it's been difficult for them to score runs. I mean, all year long they've had a difficult time. They're 14th or 15th in hitting and in home runs all year long. So they're trying to produce more runs. They are last in the league in number of runs produced. So slapping at the ball, running a little bit. They're trying to produce some runs here. So there's a runner at third with only 1 out. The Reds will bring the infield in. Freeman digs in, doubled his last time, singled his first time. Ramirez to the stretch.
The rebuilding here in Atlanta has been a godsend for the 2 teams in this National League East that are trying to contend. The Braves are 0-6 against the Washington Nationals. They're 1-5 against the New York Mets. So where that helps is not only in the divisional races, but it helps also in the quest for the wild card. When you have a team or 2 in your division that are both rebuilding at the same time, some people would call what the Braves are doing tanking. you know, it upsets the balance of baseball overall because it affects the wild card race.
Good block by Barnhart. 3 balls and 1 strike. And Ramirez would love a strikeout here in the National League. Suarez is 4th in the league in strikeouts. Freeman right behind him, 5th in the league. So you got a good potential for a strikeout here. 3-1. Not that way. Forget it. That's long gone. A 2-run shot. The Braves take the lead 7-5. Freeman's 10th home run of the year and his 3rd career home run against the Reds, and Atlanta has the lead for the first time. 7-6.
A 3-1 count, and you're talking about a breaking ball that just comes right over there and catches the plate.
Bouncer over second, Cozart over. They'll get the out. Markakis is retired, but Freddie Freeman's big swing. He's 3 for 3 tonight, and the Braves have a lead by 1 for the first time tonight. There's Adonis Garcia. Bounced out in the first and doubled in a run in the third. Six runs, only 4 hits and an error for the Reds. 7 runs, 5 of them earned, 8 hits and no errors for Atlanta. Suarez wide of third, and they get the out. Good job by Suarez cutting in front of Cozart, and nice job by Votto at the other end. But before the inning ends, Freddie Freeman gives the Braves the lead, 7-6.
Form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Time now for our Steel Power Tool Performer. We're going to take you down to high A ball, and a big congrats goes out to Tyler Mahle. Threw a no-hitter tonight for Daytona. 9 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts, didn't walk a batter. 106 pitches, 76 were strikes as Daytona beat Jupiter 4-0. He hit one batter. That was the only blemish as he faced the minimum tonight. So Tyler Mahle, congratulations. And guys, Corky Miller in the offseason, who spends a lot of time with Dayton and the Dragons. I asked him in the offseason, give me a player to keep an eye on. First word out of his mouth of the first name was this guy, Tyler Mahle.
Thanks for the update, JD. Always keep us up to date on everything. Here's a new pitcher for the Braves. Ryan Weber just activated today. Weber, recall from AAA Gwinnett, has appeared in 4 games over 9 innings for Atlanta and a couple of previous stints this season, and made 13 appearances down at AAA, and he's already thrown about 100 pitches in the bullpen tonight.
He ought to be good and loose. I mean, but he knows what hot weather is all about. After all, he's from Clearwater, Florida. He was drafted by the Phillies out of Clearwater High School, Clearwater Central Catholic High School. Did not sign. Ended up going to St. Pete College. That's when the Braves got him in the 22nd round, 2009. This year was his first go-around to big league camp and the first year in the major leagues.
There's Suarez. Popped up his first time up. Sacrifice fly knocked in the 6th run for the Reds in the 3rd. And here's a leadoff base hit in the 6th inning.
That's a good swing. I mean, that's simply taking what the pitcher will give you.
You know, you can talk about the funks that he's gotten into and talk about all the strikeouts, but every once in a while you see it all come together and they make a good swing, react to a pitch in a positive way. It's just all got to come together for him. Double-barreled action for the Reds in the bullpen as we get down to the bottom of the order. Tyler Holt 0 for 2, a line drive out and a strikeout. Smith and Wood up and loosening with Mac Jenkins looking on. See, now this is one of those old-fashioned bullpens here at Turner Field. You can actually look in from here and see who's warming up. You know, now they're usually either hidden under something or behind something where you have no idea who's warming up. Of course, each dugout has a camera that can show the opposition. There's a bouncer. Good job by Holt. Goes the other way. And the Reds have 2 on quickly here against Weber in the 6th.
I spoke too soon when I said this is his first time through for Weber. He made his major league debut as a start last year in September when he was called up. So the Reds have greeted him pretty much the way they sent out their old pitcher, Aaron Blair. They got 6 runs on in the first 5 innings of this ball game, and they are threatening again here.
And with Barnhart up, Waldrop has moved into the on-deck circle, the big left-handed swinger for the Reds. From the stretch is Weber. Here's Barnhart, struck out, grounded out 0 for 2. That's low for a ball. Tucker looks down at Billy Hatcher, rolls through some signs. Suarez singled, he's off second. Holt singled, he inches off first. Freeman playing behind him at first. Good hold, and it's 2-0. That's a strike, 1 and 2. Weber peers in for a sign from Brzezinski, and the Reds lead off. Still no one out here in the Red 6th. A little wide, another 3-ball count. It's been a night of 3-ball counts for Atlanta pitching. Blair, in his 5 innings of work, allowed 4 hits but 6 runs. He walked 4 and constantly was in a 3-ball count, either 3-1 or 3-0 or 3-2. Slice to left. Tagging is Suarez, and he's going to try for third. Here comes the throw. It'll be wide. Holt will tag at first. He advances. Great job of base running, especially by Tyler Holt. The Reds take advantage move runners to second and third with the fly ball to left.
Well, that makes the fly ball to left field a useful out on the part of Tucker Barnhart. And the Red Scouting Report has a lot of credit to do with that, because they know that Malik Smith is not a great thrower. So he's backpedaling on a ball, momentum taking him away from throwing to third base, and everybody moves up.
And here comes Waldrop, who will pinch hit for J.C. Ramirez. He pinch hit yesterday and worked a walk. Came up from Louisville at the start of the month for his second stint with the Reds. Tardy on the fastball for strike one.
I imagine that these guys have seen each other along the way in the minor leagues. Weber relies on a sinking fastball, more deception than anything else.
Fastball inside.
And the key for Waldrop is simply make him get that ball up.
One and one to the Reds pinch hitter. Cozart on deck. Up and in, and it's 2-1. He reminds you a little Paul Bird, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he does. It looks like he's got a little sneaky fastball.
Yep.
Doesn't give you much motion, but he's throwing it in there at 92. It looks like it gets on you. Waldrop looking for a nice fastball to hit here.
Hit hard. That's a base hit. One run's going to score. Holt had to hold because he had to make sure it went through. Holt turns, will hold at third. A run scoring base hit for Waldrop, and the pinch hitting role. He walked his last time. This time he bangs a base hit. That's his first career run batted in, so it's been a pretty good month of June. Got his first major league hit, that base hit off Blake Trinan, and here's his first RBI, Chris.
Well, it came on a changeup, not a fastball on a 2-1 count. He waited on it nicely, dropped the hammer on it, and rides it into right field for a ribeye. Interesting, really interesting guy Waldrop is, because he was the hitter of the year, last year, a couple of years ago in the minor leagues for the Reds. He and Jesse Winker are the two left-handed hitting outfielders that the Reds have been talking about for the last few years. And Waldrop's got a nice compact swing. He packs plenty of punch. And I'm just wondering if he's going to get enough playing time here sometime here in 2016 to really find out where he is as far as his advancement.
In the dirt, that'll kick away. Here comes Holt. He won't even break stride. He's already halfway down the line. Great first reaction from Holt. As soon as it hit the dirt, he was on his way. So he will score on the wild pitch. And the Reds have taken the lead again. It's now 8-7 Cincinnati.
Ball bounded away like maybe A.J. Pierzynski's got steel toes. Oh,
hit his knee, right off the knee, and all the way almost into the Reds dugout, which would have been another base for the Reds base runner, now out at second, Waldrop. So he's in scoring position for Cozart. Here's the 2-0. Bang down to short. Waldrop will hold there. They'll get the out. There's your second out of the inning. We've watched Waldrop put on some nice home run derby swings in spring training the last couple of years, haven't we?
Well, he's got plenty of power. I mean, you know, it's one thing to hit him at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but it's another thing to get the job done against, you know, nice live major league pitching. This is I like seeing the Reds begin to use these young players a little bit.
They'll walk Joey Votto intentionally and deal with Brandon Phillips. Votto today struck out, walked, singled. He singled on one of the 7 full count pitches that Braves pitchers have put themselves in. Roger McDowell has seen a little bit of everything over the years. He's seen some of the best pitching in baseball. He's seen the rebirth of this pitching staff and the Coleraine High School graduate who still has one of the best personalities in the game of baseball, has become also one of the best pitching coaches in the game of baseball.
It's funny how you don't get appreciated for being a great pitching coach when your pitching staff struggles like crazy. But when you get a bunch of good pitchers on there, all of a sudden you're brilliant. I mean, it's like managers. You're only as good as the players you have.
Yep. Reds by 1. They've led by 3 twice. They've trailed by 1. They now lead by 1. Let's see if Brandon Phillips can pad that lead. Popped up twice and walked. There's strike 1. Phillips had his 13-game hitting streak snapped this weekend, but started it again yesterday. He's hit safely in 14 of the last 15. And during that period, over 320. That's got the average back up to 263. That was his shoot at the right center field swing and just missed it. And you know, mom and dad are in the stands here, probably a whole bunch of other fans whenever he comes to Atlanta. Hit hard. It is a foul ball. Would have scored 1, might have scored 2. No balls, 2 strikes with 2 away. Waldrop. Big secondary lead off second. That's wide. And it's 1-2. Just missing again. 2-2. Game 1 of a 4-game set on the air with the Reds live tomorrow at 6:30. Brandon Finnegan will try to win his 3rd against the lively arm of Julio Teheran. Anthony DeSclafani on Wednesday and that noon game on Thursday. Toward short. They'll get the out. That'll do it. The Reds will strand a pair, but they take the lead. Big hit from Waldrop, and the Reds lead it by 1. anniversary of the '76 World Series champion Reds arrive early for a special pregame ceremony featuring members of the Big Red Machine. Plus, stick around for a spectacular postgame fireworks show. You know, every fireworks Friday is a big one. All of it presented by Cooper Tire. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. Great end of the month, Chris, when the Reds head home. Now the Pete Rose weekend, the '76 celebration. Great time to honor the history, the tradition of Reds baseball. Pretty special.
It really will be a terrific weekend. If you don't have your tickets yet, you better get them. Blake Wood is coming on. You know, Brian Price thought this would be a bullpen game. I don't think he realized it would be on his third reliever by the 6th inning. Wood pitched 2 great innings, 2 hitless innings, and Friday's 2-1 win over the Oakland A's.
Brzezinski, fly ball down the left field line. It'll be foul and dropped harmlessly on the warning track. Daniel Wright, 3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned, no strikeouts and a walk, 57 pitches. J.C. Ramirez pitched the 4th and the 5th. The home run by Freeman gave the Braves a 7-6 lead, but he benefited from a bounce back by the Reds, who now lead at 8-7. And here's Wood trying to keep it right where it is against A.J. Brzezinski.
You know, Brian Price is playing this ball game right now, you know, thinking it's going to be a 1-run game. So now you're beginning to use the guys at the end of the game that can possibly just shut it down. Wood has really done well when he's been in games in which he's pitched more than 1 inning at a time.
Yeah, and there's some guys too that appear to be more comfortable when they're used on a regular basis. And the more you use him, not to overuse him, but the more you use him on a regular basis, the more effective he's been.
It's always a fine line you walk as a manager, is what's too much and what's not enough. But Wood, in 6 of his last 8 appearances of when he's pitched more than 1 inning, he has had scoreless appearances. So, you know, he likes going out there more than 1 inning at a time. His delivery is a little bit kind of like the delivery of the starter Aaron Blair, in as much as it's kind of a complicated delivery. He gives you a tilt and a twist. He tilts his shoulders dramatically. There are a lot of pitchers that do that, but he also twists his body around quite a bit, making it kind of a compound procedure. Get that ball back up into the right spot.
2-2. Barnhart set up down and in. That's bounced right back through the middle, but there is Cozart. The slick fielding shortstop takes care of Brzezinski, who's now 0 for 3. Fly ball, line drive out, and the ground out. And here's Jace Peterson, 1 for 2, a single. Here's another look at that motion.
Here's Blake Wood. He's always pitching out the stretch, whether men are on or not. He gets into a good, solid pitching position as long as he gets out over his front knee. But he does really tilt, and he leans back quite a bit. Big, strong guy. 30 years old. The only free agent signing the Reds made at the major league level during the offseason. They signed Wood. He was the closer at Indianapolis AAA, which was AAA for the Pittsburgh Pirates all year last year.
Big swing by Peterson, fouled off, and it's 0-2. Peterson's another guy that's been bouncing back and forth. Casey Kelly and Chris Withrow up and loosening in the bullpen for the Atlanta Braves. Good to see Casey, huh?
It is. You know, we haven't seen Casey Kelly for a long time. Of course, Pat Kelly, a longtime Reds minor league manager and Reds operative. His son, who was raised in Sarasota, #1 draft pick, traded around from the Boston to San Diego, had some arm injuries along the way.
One hopper down to third, 2 away.
Good to see him in the big leagues.
Yeah, I mean, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Pretty intelligent baseball player, great athlete, period. And you wish him the best. You wish him good health. You wish him success at this level. Here's Eric Ibar. Ibar doubled in the second, tied the game at 3, and bounced out in the fourth. Oh, got him in the ribs. Oh, he got him good too. You saw Barnhart set up inside, and it got him right in the ribs, under the right arm. Wood comes halfway to the home plate area and heads back.
Well, Ibar just came back off the disabled list on June the 12th. And he was on there. He had a right foot contusion. That happened back earlier in the month of May.
You're talking about pretty good velocity from Wood, and he turned right into it. Take another look and you'll see how he gets drilled. Right under that right arm. Ooh. No protection there.
I'll tell you, that's the kind of spot you get hit with a fastball as hard as Wood throws, and you can break a rib. And they're wondering right now, are you having any trouble breathing? And the answer to that's got to be yes. Looks like he's going to stay in the game.
He's marching down to first. Tough hombre right there, brother of former Major Leaguer Willie Ibar, out of the Dominican Republic. Eddie Perez marching down to first with him. Brandon Snyder will come in and pitch hit. And the pitcher's spot in the batting order. So Snyder, one of 4 on the bench for the Braves tonight. And at 286, a homer on the year. 2 away here in the 6th. Wood leaned over, acknowledged Ibar, who looked at him. I mean, no intent there very clearly. You saw where Barnhart was set up on the inner part of the plate. That'll take your breath away, that's for sure. Man. Big swing and a foul ball out of play.
This would be a good night to have a scorecard concession. Because I can guarantee you, the Reds don't know who these Atlanta Braves guys are. And the fans here in Atlanta have no idea who half these Reds guys are.
No balls, 2 strikes. Goes the runner, and it's fouled off on the 0-2 pitch.
Well, that's got to hurt just to breathe hard. Tell you one thing, he's not sliding head first.
Tell you another thing, it's going to be sore tomorrow morning.
It's already sore. It's going to stay sore. I'm really surprised he stayed in the ball game.
Hey, got a chance to play here. And he knows the kids that are coming up behind him. 0-2, they'll toss over there again. Now Snyder digs in. First week back with the ball club after being called up from AAA again. Had a successful stint down there. trying to contribute here as the 0-2 pitch out, nothing going. 1-2. Runner not going this time. That's up high. Barnhart held it that extra instant trying to get the call, but no luck. Here's in for some help on the call from Brian Price, and we'll try it again. 2-2. Hardy on the fastball, and Wood gets out of the inning after the hit batsman. The Reds clinging to a 1-run lead, 8-7 as we go to the 7th. Led 3 times in this game. In the first, they jumped off their 3-0 lead. Jay Bruce a triple after Cozart walk. His league leading 6 triple, 1-0 Reds, and Adam Duvall clubbed his 18th home run of the year. A 2-run shot, and the Reds had a 3-0 lead. We played seesaw baseball for the next couple of innings before Freddie Freeman delivered a big-time shot. Freeman's home run in the 5th gave the Braves the lead, 7-6. And then mark this one down, Chris. A day to remember. Pinch hit appearance from Kyle Waldrop. A base hit, his first major league run batted in. That tied the game at 7. The 8th run scored on a wild pitch. Congratulations, Kyle, on the RBI. The Reds lead at 8-7. 8-7-1 with 4 left on. 4-8-0 with 2 left on for Atlanta. And on the mound, here is Casey Kelly, who will take over. He'll become the 4th pitcher for the Braves tonight. Hope Dad's watching tonight, Chris.
Well, I'm sure he is, George. After all, he likes the Reds and he loves his son, Casey. Everything coming up out of high school in the state of Florida. Played for the Sarasota Sailors.
A rocket shot to right. This one going back. It's going to be. How about that? Jay Bruce. Unbelievable. Bruce had to go off his bat like a rocket, and Markakis somehow took 2 quick steps and got to it.
You know, sometimes you hit the ball so hard that it has a hump in it, like a humpback line drive, and that was that one. That ball actually had overspin and didn't carry as much had he had a little backspin on that ball, and Markakis was able to run it down.
Great job by Markakis. I mean, it looked like the ball was going to outrun him. He just reached up like a post pattern and hauled it in. Can't hit it much harder than Bruce did. Jay tripled his first time up, his league leading 6, walked, flied out, and that line drive to right. There's Duvall. He homered his first time, sacrifice fly his second time, and bounced into a fielder's choice. Casey named Florida's Mr. Baseball back in 2008. Big time hitter, big time pitcher. This one hit pretty good to right, going back. Markakis, and he'll do it again. Well, the Atlanta right fielder, 2 fine defensive plays, and there's 2 away here in the 7th. We talk about Casey as a baseball player, and every time we've seen it, we've talked baseball, Chris. But I mean, this kid is kind of like Jeff Francoeur, you know, who came up here in Atlanta, was maybe the prime football prospect coming out of high school in the Atlanta area. Same thing for Casey.
He had a very difficult decision to make when he came out of Sarasota. He was a 2-time regional player of the year as a quarterback, and he was all set to accept the scholarship at the University of Tennessee to be their quarterback. And when the Red Sox drafted him in the 1st round, the kind of money that they were dropping on him made that Tennessee scholarship not as attractive. So he decided to go the baseball route, ended up having an injury to his arm, set him back quite a bit. Did make his major league debut, I want to say in 2012 or so. The remarkable thing about that is that he made his debut on his father's birthday.
Day to remember.
It was in 2012. His dad, Pat, one of the all-time good guys.
In on the hands to Suarez. Outstanding coach, manager, good organization guy. He's helped a lot of young people, and his kids included. Casey threw for over 4,000 yards as a high school quarterback, similar to the story of Adam Dunn, who gave up football. He had the Texas scholarship, went 1 year and decided to stick with baseball. He threw for over 4,000 yards in Houston. Dunner was a hitter. Casey's a pitcher. And it's another story. Do you stay a position player, or do you devote it to pitching? And he had a decision to make early in his career. That's a breaking ball down and low. That's a call, strike 3. So it's a 1-2-3 for Casey Kelly here in the 7th. Bottom of 7 we go. Reds holding on to an 8-7 lead. experience they'll never forget this summer with the official Reds baseball and softball camps presented by United Healthcare. Campers will receive their own uniform, special instruction from a Reds coach, guest appearances by a current Red star, and a whole lot more. Sign up today at reds.com/camps. Blake Wood will go for his second inning of work. 2 line drives out and a strikeout in the 7th for Wood. If you joined us late, Daniel Wright started 3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned. Big swing and a miss by the leadoff hitter Mallex Smith, who walked, bounced out, and singled and stole a base. J.C. Ramirez and Blake Wood. One ball, one strike to the speedy leadoff hitter. Ooh. Geared up for the fastball all night. He locked him up with that, didn't he?
Well, he's got a slider and a splitter, does Blake Wood, and that one that goes straight down is that splitter. Holds it really wide apart with his index and middle finger.
Two. Two lefties, 6 righties in the Atlanta bullpen. Jim Johnson, one of the righties, loosening in the pen. That slapped the other way, but foul. Over the years, we've had a lot of memories here in Atlanta. You know, I guess you'd say probably most of them were at Fulton County Stadium. But some great battles here, too. Of course, this was the Olympic Stadium in 1996. And we were here. That was back when we used to come to town twice. We were here right before the Olympics and right after the Olympics that year. That misses, ball 4, and with a 1-run lead, the speedy Mallex Smith leads off in the 7th with a walk.
Really, if there's one guy in this Braves lineup that you don't want to walk, it was the guy that just got the free pass.
And you figure there'll be something going on here, either a bunt and run, hit and run, steal, one or the other. With Brian Snitker, he's been trying to push the envelope a little bit with his club since he took over from Freddie Gonzalez. NCRT singled on a 2-2 pitch in the first, line to left, and bounced to third. Wood to the stretch.
Well, if you're going to steal and you're wondering, you know, if Mallex Smith is out there, he says, all right, he's thrown over twice, and teams will keep this information. Has he ever thrown over 3 times in a row? So you get a little bit more this time, and then, yes, he will. All right, so at what point do you think, as the base runner, is this enough? Will he ever go over 4 times in a row?
I know a pitcher that would.
One more time than you think is necessary.
But when you get over 15, 16, there's a bouncer foul.
Well, I thought 16 was necessary, so one more time. And then, of course, he stole on the 17th. I knew I should have gone one more time.
But you're still Vince Coleman's favorite left-hander, and you always will be.
I did pick him off later in the game.
You say you did. He says you didn't, but I'll believe you.
We'll look it up.
1 strike to end Ciardi. A little bit bigger lead down at first for Smith. He's not going and pitch out. They've got to throw down, but he's back. And you say, will you throw over 2 or 3 times? Will you pitch out twice in a row? That's the next question.
I don't think you do. Not with Blake Wood out there, because I don't think his control is enough that you're wanting to put him in a hole like that. I mean, you could pitch out your way into a big inning here.
So does that tell you that Smith is going on this pitch?
Probably.
Here he goes. Swing and a miss. Strike him out, and not in time. He steals his second base. 11 stolen bases on the season for Smith.
That's about as good as it gets for Tucker Barnhart there, too. It's a breaking ball, and he picks it right from the top of the ground and throws it on the money to Kozar. Now, of course, Inciarte, all he wants to do is hit something to the right side to move the runner over to third.
In the dirt, they'll get the out. So here comes Freeman. He's been a thorn in the side of the Reds all night long. Singled in a run in the first, doubled and scored in the third, and a 2-run homer in the fifth gave Atlanta the lead for the first time. Single, double, homer for the big first baseman, with great speed out at second, representing the tying run. And oh, by the way, only 2 cycles since the Braves moved to Atlanta in '96. Mark Kotze, the last one to hit for the cycle. We just saw him this weekend as the bench coach for Bob Melvin and the Oakland A's. Wood to the stretch. That's probably your least favorite tidbit, hitting for the cycle, huh?
It's a statistical anomaly. Wouldn't you rather have a guy hit 3 home runs and hit for the cycle?
Agreed.
Even 2 home runs.
1 ball, 1 strike. Freeman digs in on the hands.
90-mile-an-hour slider. I don't know if it's a slider or a cutter or just a hard breaking pitch by Blake Wood.
The way Freeman sets up, what does that tell you if you're pitching to him?
Well, I think that he likes the ball down and in, but also chase the ball down and in.
So there's a sweet spot, but if you miss it. 1-2. Got him. There's your sweet spot, Chris.
Oh, that's a great pitch right there. Freeman prefers the ball down and right underneath the elbows with a 4-seam fastball at 97 miles an hour. Freeman trying to get his upper body out of there, and it comes back and catches the inside part of the zone. What a beauty.
Great pitch.
Boy, if you're Blake Wood, you'd like to run that off about 20,000 times. In fact, I always suggest to these players, and we got it here from the Brave sports psychologist Jack Llewellyn years ago, that you make a videotape. Nowadays you put it on disc, but of all the best pitches that you throw rather than the worst pitches. And you run it and you look at that tape every day for a minute. Say there's only 6 pitches on there. Well, that would be the one that I would put on there for Blake Wood, because that was a keeper.
Positive reinforcement. A walk, stolen base, 2 strikeouts, and here comes Markakis. 1 ball delivery from the big right-hander. Hey,
big happenings down there in Louisville tonight, where Cody Reed started, pitched, went 6 innings. I think he only gave up 1 run. Another great outing for the Reds left-hander coming up. But also the first appearance for Michael Lorenzen, pitching out of the bullpen. 1 inning out of the pen. So nice to see Michael Lorenzen taking steps to get back here to the major leagues.
On the way back. Iglesias also this weekend too. So little by little the Reds hopeful of getting the troops back. Both Iglesias and Lorenzen will be operating out of this bullpen when they do eventually get up here. That's a strike. You know, and Chris, the Reds are so fortunate. I mean, they got Teddy Power in Louisville. Danny Darwin, boy, is it great to get him into the organization. Talk about a guy that knows pitching and knows what he's doing. And Tommy Brown down in Dayton, we've seen him straighten out so many pitchers over the years. You get that kind of support down below, you get your guys ready a lot quicker. There's a bouncer down to Phillips, tricky hop, but somehow he gets it. Wow, that's a Gold Glove play. It hit off the edge of the grass, but Phillips hauls it in. So the stolen base is left stranded. Reds still leading by 1 as we go to the 8th. Game coverage of the Reds down in the minors, and looking forward to hopefully a smiling scoreboard. Mark Riggins giving congratulations to Blake Wood, who pitched well for 2 innings of work. And for the Braves tonight, Aaron Blair started 5 innings, 4 hits, 6 runs. Weber an inning, Casey Kelly an inning, and here's Jim Johnson, Chris.
Jim Johnson's a veteran that they expected to really come in here and kind of regain some of that old form. Big, tall right-hander that throws in the mid-90s when healthy. Hey.
Just back off the disabled list, the big, tall righty. There's a bouncer to the right side, flagged down by Jace Peterson, and there's 1 away. Tyler Holt retired on the 4-3 putout. Put on the DL with a groin strain, and sometimes, Chris, that can be a couple of months. It happened in May, but back off rather quickly, and he's back on the mound.
It's not just, if you just look around baseball, it's just not only the Reds, you know, that are bemoaning injuries. Every team has them, and that's got to be going forward. If you're in a Reds ownership or any Major League Baseball ownership, or front office, you got to be thinking, we got to find a way to keep these guys on the field, because the frequency of injuries. Now, the one that happened to Billy Hamilton, I mean, he's on the concussion list. I mean, you have a hard head first slide, you run into a guy's shin, and it bumps your head, and nothing you can do about it. But I'm more talking about the arm injuries to pitchers that are so frequent, the ones that hurt so much that they take you out for an entire season.
Well, that's the kind of stuff you saw from Big Jim when he was back-to-back a 50 save guy.
So we talk about those injuries, especially the concussion injury. Jim Day, what's the latest on Billy Hamilton?
Well, Brian Price talked about him turning the corner yesterday. It was a good day for him yesterday and today. He is on the trip. Before the game, he was going through the rigors with Steve Bauman, the trainer. Now, one thing of putting him on the 7-day concussion DL is that they didn't want Billy to have to take those concussion protocol tests over and over each day to see if he was ready. They wanted him to go on there for the 7 days and take it once. He is doing well and is eligible to come off Thursday if all goes well. If he passes those tests.
And he said today everything is right on track to do exactly that. Here's Steve Selski, the pinch hitter. Wednesday against St. Louis, doubled off Garcia for his first career hit. Got one start. Here's a grounder towards the hole and through. Selski delivers a base hit through the shift on the left side. So Selski, a 2-out base hit for the Reds here in the 8th.
Got a couple of the young Reds that are coming up out of the minor leagues getting a chance to swing the bat. Both of them delivering hits tonight. Good to see.
Waselski's on, peering across at Billy Hatcher, rolls through some signs for him, and here comes Cozart. Zach walks, single, flied out, bounced out, and plated the Reds' 8th run. Eight runs, 8 hits, and an error for the Reds. 7 runs, 8 hits for the Braves. You know, when you rebuild a team, you rebuild with youth, yes, but you need a guy like this. You know, who's been in your bullpen, who's been in a bullpen, been a leader before, quiet leader. They had Kelly Johnson here, of course. He is another kind of guy who's a leader. Jeff Francoeur. You need those kind of guys to supplement the young players you're bringing up. There are those 2 years we talked about. They were big time years, Chris.
Boy, you're not kidding. 50 saves. That's carrying a load out there.
There goes the runner, and it's fouled off.
The Reds really don't have all that many base stealing speedy runners. I mean, obviously with Hamilton out of the lineup, you have Holt. Selski, I'm not sure if he's really that caliber or not, but they're going to run him right there early in the, with a 2-strike count, figuring what he had to lose.
Runner not going this time. That's a ground ball, right side, gobbled up by Peterson, and that'll do it. The Reds get a 2-out base hit, nothing to show for it. To bottom of 8 we go. Reds by 1. Cincinnati Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio has been brought to you by Kroger. Stop by your neighborhood Kroger to save big store wide. Great food, low prices, all at Kroger. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And don't forget, Reds fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, stream them live on your mobile device with the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app, take Fox Sports Ohio and the Reds baseball with you wherever you go. That means the next time you go on your trail, you can take Fox Sports with you, Chris.
Where I go, George, there's reception. Where Josh Hall goes, no reception up there in the Grand Tetons. Ross Ollendorf coming in to pitch an 8th inning. Really fine job by Blake Wood. 2 innings of scoreless baseball. Second time in a row he has done that. And now on to the hard-throwing right-hander Ollendorf.
Ollendorf will face Garcia, Brzezinski, and Peterson, 5, 6, and 7 in the lineup. Garcia bounced out, doubled in a run, and bounced out.
Ollendorf, a real interesting guy to talk to. You know, he's been around a lot. He broke in and when he was 24 years old with the New York Yankees. He's been with Pittsburgh for several years where he was primarily a starter. With the Padres and Nationals.
Ooh. That got Brzezinski. Wow, it looked like it got him right on the hand. Man, we've seen that happen too often, Chris.
I think it got him on the chin. They're looking at his face.
Looked like it bounced maybe off the hand onto the face or the side. Ugh. I mean, remember when Hal Morris got hit?
Yeah.
In St. Louis.
That was with a bat, wasn't it?
Yep. And then Juan Encarnacion that day in St. Louis, the line shot when he took it. And that really precipitated the end of his career, and that was almost in an identical spot. Two balls, 2 strikes. Brzezinski waving everybody off, saying I'm okay, as he sits in the on-deck circle. 2-2. This one hit deep to left. Back is Duval looking up. It is a tie game. Well, Chris, the number, not one that the Reds look fondly on this year. Once again, the Reds call on someone in the bullpen, and the first batter they face gives up a home run.
It's a remarkable statistic. I think that number is up around a dozen now. A dozen times this year that the Reds, the first pitcher that a bullpenner has faced, has hit a ball out of the ballpark. 95, pretty much right down Broadway.
Two rows in, just enough to get over the wall, and we're tied at 8 here in the 8th inning. There's Brzezinski. Hit hard. There's a base hit into right. Back-to-back pitches. 2 hits. One ties the game. The other puts the go-ahead run on base. And still no one out in the 8th. And that'll get him working in the bullpen for the Reds. Brzezinski will give way to a pinch runner. Darno will come in to pinch run. Chase Darno. Good speed. Brother of Travis Darno leads off first. And here's Jace Peterson. I mean, don't be surprised to see either a steal or a hit and run here. They'll chase him back. Darno's been around Pittsburgh and Philadelphia in his career. Now 29 years of age. He inches off the bag. Bunt shown here. Still no one out. Peterson. reached on an infield hit in the second, fly it out to center and bounced to third. Suarez 3 steps in front of the bag at third. Showing bunt again. It's up high. 2-0. Bo Porter rolling through his signs. Peterson steps out, gives a long look, and steps back in. Runner not going. That's up high again. And it's 3-0. That's ball 4. So now the go-ahead run goes down to second. We get to the bottom of the order. Here's Ibar, and then the pitcher spot due up. Francoeur available to pinch it. Tyler Flowers available to pinch it, the number 2 catcher. And as Brian Price goes to the phone to check on the bullpen, Mark Riggins will come out and talk to Ollendorf.
Well, I'm not really sure what you tell Ross Ollendorf right here, except you try to settle him down a little bit, maybe go over what the defensive scheme is going to be on this. There's a lot of different things the team can do. First and second, nobody out. You can play it straight with the third baseman coming in. You can play the wheel play. You can try to pick off at second.
All kinds of options here because Ibar's a good bunter.
Ollendorf has been around long enough that he does not need to be reminded about how dumb that was to walk the previous runner when he was up there to bunt. So now that that's already done, you move on. Suarez gives a sign to everybody else in the infield.
If Ibar gets a bunt down, it's designed to go to third, force the third baseman to make the play and move 2 runners into scoring position.
They're going to hold the runner on pretty close at second.
It's fouled off, and as the pitch was delivered, Cozart had gone behind the runner and was sitting on the bag. Tyler Flowers has moved into the on-deck circle. Ollendorf peers in for a sign from Barnhart to the stretch. Here's the 0-1. They get the bunt down. They're going to go to third. They'll get 1, and that's all they'll get. Great job. And the defense that the Reds called worked that time with Suarez charging and Cozart going from the second base bag all the way to the third base bag, and he beat the runner.
It's called the wheel play, and that's when the shortstop comes in and then takes off for third base. His intent is to beat the runner to the bag so that you can charge both the infielders on the corner. So Suarez fields the bunt. Ibar puts it down exactly where he wanted to bring it down. But look at Cozart go. He gets a great jump right here. Chase Darno is just, he's falling asleep out there. You have to know where that shortstop is. And if that play is executed as well as the Reds did defensively right there, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. So a big-time defensive play there for the Reds. It saves a runner to go into third base.
Here's once a Brave and now a Brave again. Jeff Francoeur, home run power, fly ball power as well. So they did not get the bunt down. They had Flowers in the on-deck circle. Didn't get the bunt down. They're going with the big bat, unlikely to hit a ground ball, more likely to hit a fly ball is Jeff Francoeur.
That's the first time we've seen that wheel play all year long. Boy, that's a thing of beauty.
Missing down and in. Originally, Francoeur was the Braves' #1 pick back in 2002. And he thought his career would always be here. Traded, bounced around. Now 32 years of age. 7 different teams he's been on.
God, it seems like he ought to be more like 52. He's been around for so long.
Here's the 1-0. And he's one of those guys that's been brought back here to add some veteran presence to some of the young players. Always a potential strikeout victim. Never been able to cut down his swing, Chris. I mean, early in his career, looked like he'd be a 280, 300 hitter on a regular basis, but the strikeouts kept mounting.
Well, it was impossible to walk in. He would essentially swing at every pitch he saw.
Here's the 1-0 in the dirt.
Used to be if you ever ran to a 2-0 count, it was time to stop the presses.
Good speed on the bases for the Braves. 2 balls, no strikes to Francoeur. Ohlendorf from the stretch. Wanted that call, didn't get it.
Well, if I'm Ross Ohlendorf, I am assuming that Jeff Francoeur has the green light on anything he wants, including this 3-0 pitch.
That's a strike. So 3-1 with a 1 out here in the 8th. Middle of the infield double play depth for the Reds. Swung towards the left side. And somebody threw something on the field in the outfield, so Brandon Phillips calls for time and they'll remove it. Francoeur digs in. Ohlendorf peers in for a sign from Barnhart. Here's the 3-1. And that's ball 4, and the bases are loaded. A homer, a single, 2 walks. Braves have tied it. Bases loaded. And back to the top of the order, Mallex Smith. So now the other part of the equation, even with the Reds thinking double play, the way Smith runs, very difficult to do it. They'll move into the edge of the grass. Smith, an outstanding bunter. He'll push it to the left side or drag it to the right side. He'll slap at the ball. Kevin Seitzer, the hitting coach here. Terry Pendleton, the former hitting coach and now the bench coach. Both guys that have worked with him all during spring training and now as the season has progressed. Missing, there's ball. We talked about the success the Reds have had with the runners in scoring position. That short, quick swing has paid off for Mallex this year. That's a ball 2. Didn't miss by much, but it's 2-0.
Well, the outfield is playing shallow enough that if Ross Ohlendorf can coax a fly ball, they may not be able to score Peterson from third base. They do not have a whole lot of respect for Smith's power. Mostly a slap hitter. Although I got to figure he's going to take a pitch right here, or at least take a strike.
Two balls, no strikes. A leadoff homer by Garcia. A walk and 2 walks and a single. There's a hard hit ball, but right at the second baseman Phillips. Perfect placement for Brandon Phillips. No chance for the play back at first. There's 2 outs, and the Reds can move their infielders back.
hit it right on the button on a 2-0 count, and here's Brandon Phillips on his knees waiting for it. So a little bit of good fortune for Ollendorf and the Reds with that line drive.
So they're still loaded, but now 2 away. Here comes Cincinnati. Single, lined out, bounced out, struck out. And Ollendorf will call out Barnhart to make sure they're on the same page.
Well, while they're having this meeting, let's have another congratulatory shout out to Tyler Mahle. Throwing out no-hitter. You know, I was looking up to some of his game-by-games. He's been throwing the ball extremely well. Mahle's 21 years old. He's from Westminster, California. And he, after the no-hitter tonight, that's on top of 7 innings of shutout baseball with no walks his last time out. In fact, he's gone now several games in a row without a walk.
Delivers to Cincinnati. That's fouled off.
It's nice, you know, we always hear about these young pitchers that are in the minor leagues. Nice to hear about one that we haven't heard a whole lot about, who may be coming in under the radar a little bit.
A guy who was on the field before the game today, along with Kevin Brown, was Ryan Klesko, another Westminster, California product. Good to see Kless and Kevin Brown. Brown looks like he could still go out and pitch.
Don't doubt it.
He said I could today, but I wouldn't be able to move tomorrow. No balls, 1 strike. Slap foul again. Now within a strike of getting out of this jam is Ross Ollendorf.
Boy, he's not having a problem working up a lather tonight. We saw that Blake Wood had completely perspired through his uniform.
Now, Chris,
I shouldn't say that. He sweat through his uniform. Fans perspire and players sweat. And it is just dripping off the cap of Ollendorf. Look at that. You think we had a rainstorm out here?
He's always been that way. When we were in Denver and we talked about the thin air and the difficulty of getting perspiration, he said, you know, I'm one of the few guys who doesn't have to worry about that. And you can see how it affects him here in the heat and humidity of Atlanta. It was 97, 98 today. Game time temperature was 90 tonight here. No balls, 2 strikes, trying to get out of this jam. Check swing, fouled off again. Stays 0-2. Freeman's had a night. Single, double, homer in 4 plate appearances. He'll put rosin over every bit of open skin that he has.
And I'm wondering if the amount that he's sweating had something to do with the 2 walks he's had this inning.
Could be. 0-2. Good spot down and in, but Cincinnati just gets a piece of it to hang in there and stay alive. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here's the 0-2, fouled off. It curving. It'll go about 25 feet foul down the third base line again. Good at bat by Cincinnati, and Ollendorf keeps pumping strikes at him.
And I wonder if Barnhart just went out to tell Ollendorf, all right, you know what, well, let's waste one down and out of the strike zone. Don't worry, I'll be back here to block it. Have some faith in me.
Setting up down and in. 1 hopper down to second. Well, Ollendorf gave up the home run to tie the game, but he battles out of a jam. We're going to the 9th. The big guys, Votto, Phillips, Bruce coming up, tied at 8. Diego. Post a video of your bat flip to @FoxSports with hashtag FoxBatFlipContest through June the 26th. Visit foxsports.com/batflipcontest for more information. Hope you get to the All-Star game. And by the way, here's our cricket something to smile about. Waldrop got his first hit this past week, and he gets his first run batted in tonight. A pinch hitting appearance that tied the game at 7 back in the 6th inning. So for Kyle, big week. First base hit, first RBI, and here we are tied at 8 as we go to the 9th inning. For the Atlanta Braves, couple of changes. First, Vizcaino comes in to pitch. Vizcaino on the mound, and then d'Arnaud will stay in the game. He'll be at shortstop. Flowers comes in behind the plate for Pierzynski, and Francoeur in the game in left. Smith will move from left to center field. So Vizcaino will bat in the number 2 spot in the order. And here comes Joey. Flowers will bat in the number 8 spot in the order. For the Reds tonight, they got 3 in the first. Braves came back to come within 3-2. The Reds got 3 more in the third. Braves came all the way back to eventually tie the game. The Reds then took the lead, and now we are tied as we go to the 9th inning. For Votto, he struck out, one of 3 walks in the third. The Reds got 3 runs on 3 walks and 1 base hit and 2 sacrifice flies. Then Joey singled on a 3-2 pitch in the 5th and was intentionally walked in the 6th. 2-0 from the lively arm of Vizcaino. They got some guys that are hard throwers in his bullpen, Chris.
Boy, do they ever. And I'm not sure you're going to see one who throws a whole lot harder than Aroldis Vizcaino. He's got the right first name to be a hard thrower. You know that. That's an interesting stat. Strikeouts in 23 of 26 appearances. But the overall numbers are just incredible. I mean, he has Aroldis Chapman type numbers as far as strikeouts. 37 strikeouts, 26 innings. Originally signed by the Yankees. Made his debut with the Braves back in 2011 and made his way through the Chicago Cubs, a couple other ball clubs, and here he is back with Atlanta.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Votto. Pop down the left field line. Long run, Francoeur. Will anybody get there? It will drop for a hit. Votto around first. He'll turn around second and will hold there. Long run. It'll be a double for Joey. Boy, if you placed it with a 9-iron, Chris, you couldn't have placed it better.
Oh, you're right. Votto deserves a couple of those to fall in. We have seen him throughout this season hit the ball hard on the money right at somebody. So he gets a little 64-degree sandwich working right there. Ball goes right off the edge of Garcia's glove.
Francoeur had a long way to come. He was only about 10 steps from the warning track with Votto at the plate. They're playing everybody deep, and here's Phillips. So now a base hit can give the Reds the lead.
And a ball to the right side will get Votto to third.
Brandon tonight popped up, walked, popped up, grounded out. Vizcaino to the stretch, Votto off second. In the air to right, down the line, curving foul, and it'll be in the seats. Same spot, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Over the years, Phillips a .261 hitter against the Atlanta Braves. 7 homers and 40 knocked in. And then hard to believe in all these trips back here to Atlanta, he has never homered at Turner Field. Really his hometown field, with family and friends always here. No balls, 2 strikes. Trying to protect, trying to drill one to the right side. It stays 0-2. Vizcaino has saved 7 of the 9 he's been called upon to save. And always comes in throwing gas. Did he check it? No, he didn't. And he acknowledges, he nods his head, he knew he went around. So there's the first out. A non-productive at bat for the Reds. They don't move the runner over, so 1 out, runner at second.
Well, going down by strikeout against this guy is no embarrassment. He strikes out just about every other hitter he faces. And Brandon, all geared up for that 99-mile-an-hour fastball, just could not hold back on the slider.
So here comes Jay. They'll walk him intentionally with first base open, and they'll deal with Adam Duvall. Bruce tonight in the first tripled in Cozart with the Reds' first run, his league leading 6-3 bagger. He walked with the bases loaded in the third for his second RBI of the night. Popped up and then lined out to right. Hardest ball he hit of the night was the line drive that Markakis caught on the way to the warning track. They won't even mess with him here. It'll set up with 1 out, a double play possibility, and put the onus on Adam. Duvall homered a 2-run shot in the first, his 18th of the year. Hit a sacrifice fly to the warning track in center to plate the Reds' 5th run, and bounced out and flied out. Our Volkswagen drive of the game. We've done this a number of times this year, Chris, for the Reds left fielder.
I never get tired of talking about Adam Duvall hitting a home run. That is our Volkswagen drive of the game. Ho-hum.
So here we go. Runner at second, runner at first. Here's Duvall trying to give the Reds a lead in the 9th of an 8-8 ball game. Hit hard, but just foul. About a 1.5 foot foul down the third base line. Now, even with Garcia hugging the line, it might have gotten by him. In his previous 3 at bats, the Braves moved the shortstop way into the hole, but now with a double play possibility, they got to keep him in normal shortstop double play position. Eight runs, 9 hits for the Reds. 8 runs, 10 hits for Atlanta. Frank Coor, one of the best arms in baseball in left, so a base hit to left, no guarantee. With Votto on second. Tries to check it, can't do it.
Same pitch that got Brandon Phillips now has gotten Duvall into the hole.
Reds haven't faced the Braves. Duvall hasn't faced Vizcaino, so you can look at all the video you want till you see the fastball, then that breaking ball. You don't experience it. Here's the 1-2 in the dirt. Good block by Flowers. That saved second and third right there. Eugenio Suarez on deck for the Reds. 2-2. This one skied towards left, but back to make the play will be the shortstop, d'Arnaud. Didn't get all of it. d'Arnaud makes the play, and there's your second out of the inning. So it'll be up to Eugenio Suarez to try to get that runner in from second. Suarez tonight popped to first, sacrifice fly to center, knocked in the 6th run, single to lead off the 6th. and later scored and then struck out in the 7th. Boy, not only a lively fastball and a pretty good breaking ball, he's got a funky motion too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. It looks like it's all arms and legs coming at you.
Votto off second, Bruce off first. Good swing, good cut, and I think Suarez thought that was the pitch he had right there. 1-1. Didn't miss it by much. Vizcaino to the stretch. Votto off second. Bruce off first. Off the corner for a ball. 2-1. So 3-1 to the Reds' third baseman. Votto turns around, checks where the outfielders are, and inches off his bag at second. That's ball 4, and the bases will be loaded. It's been a night where walks have figured into every key inning, and once again the bases loaded for the Reds, and here comes Tyler Holt. Holt tonight struck out, lined out, singled in the 6th to help start a Reds rally where the Reds took the lead 8-7. Then he bounced out last time up. Roger McDowell onto the phone to the bullpen one more time. So let's see if the guy who usually gives the Reds a spark with his glove can do it with his bat here tonight. Bases loaded, top of the 9th, 8-8 ball game. Flowers against Vizcaino.
For a moment there, I think that maybe Tyler Holt was thinking, I'll take one for the team.
Until he saw like 98 coming at him. Would have got the go-ahead run in, but one of 8 Reds hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position. He's in at 308. Ball 1 to Holt. Vizcaino to the stretch. Votto represents the go-ahead run. That slider drops in, and it's 1-1. Double by Votto. Intentional walk to Bruce. And a walk to Suarez. It's loaded it for the Reds. Did he go? No, he didn't, says Laz Diaz. So it's 2-1. Flowers flags down his signs. Holt digs in. That's inside. It'll go 3-1 and no place to put him. Well, he's had better control of his slider, but his best pitch is his fastball. 3-1. What do you got, Chris?
The pitch you can throw for a strike.
Go ahead run sitting at third. Here's your 3-1 from Vizcaino. And that's ball 4. That'll force in the go ahead run. Well, the night started with Aaron Blair walking 4 in his 5 innings of work. And that got the Reds fuel to a 3-0 lead. Well, Vizcaino has walked in the go ahead run here in the top of 9. as Votto crosses the plate and Cincinnati leads it. 28 pitches in the inning as Votto gets some high fives from his teammates. And here comes Barnhart. Josh Smith and Tony Cingrani each loosening in the bullpen. And Ogando has now gotten up and started to loosen in the Atlanta bullpen. Ryan Price would love to see Barnhart deliver a couple of runs batted in here. That's a strike. 1-1. So Tyler Holt, good at bat, works the walk, forces in the go-ahead run. Barnhart looking to play add-on. Down to first. They'll get the out. That'll do it. The Reds will strand 3, but they get one in. So the bottom of 9. Here we go. Meat of the order up. Reds lead it by 1. The legendary career of Pete during the Reds Hall of Fame induction weekend, June 24th through the 26th. Sunday, June 26th, arrive early for a special on-field ceremony to honor number 14's iconic jersey. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. It's going to be a very special weekend. Hope you join us and you're part of all the festivities. And don't forget, you can get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before every game. The guys are always there to keep you up to date on what's going on. Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. And don't forget, tomorrow we'll be on the air with Reds Live at 6:30. Brandon Finnegan will go for his 3rd win against another hard-throwing right-hander, Chris, Julio Teheran.
He's throwing the ball very well. Teheran is. Don't be misled by that 2-6 win-loss record. Earned run average a very nifty 2.8. Good pitching matchup. Lefty and righty going tomorrow, but we've got some business to take care of tonight. And it'll be left-hander Tony Cingrani on the mound trying to nail this one down for the Reds in a 1-run ball game. Here's where the Braves and their left-handed laden lineup may work against them. With Cingrani, a left-hander, he will face lefties Freeman and then Nick Markakis, 3 and 4 in the order, before Adonis Garcia, the only right-hander in the lineup, is due to step into the batter's box.
So here's Freeman. What a night he's had. Single, double, and home run. In 4 plate appearances. Hit hard, but Phillips, staggering, hauls it in and gets the out. Hit right on the button by Freeman. And there's one away. Great to have you with us, George Brand, Chris Welch, Jim Day. Don't forget, right after the game, Jeff Pecoro, Brian Giesenslaw will wrap things up for you. And Dreamweaver, Ron Millenor, taking care of everything back in the studios here. Josh Hall back from his vacation, our producer. Brian Hunterman, our director. Matt Sigafus dialing up these highlights for you, and Lauren White with some graphic support. Here's Markakis. No hits on the day, but a double play ball that knocked in a run, a force out that knocked in a run, and 2 ground outs.
Interesting, both these left-handers, Freeman and now Markakis, swing at the first pitch. They are pretty much guaranteed of getting a fastball first pitch from Cingrani, and they were hoping to cash in on that.
Markakis 0 for 1 against Cingrani in their previous appearances. Right back to Cingrani, gloves it. Oh, 2 balls hit pretty hard, but Tony helps himself with that play. The zinger almost got zinged with that one.
He went right down there to get it. You know, Cingrani's very athletic. He's a good hitter. He's a very fast runner. Well, he went right down there and picked that one clean.
Now, Chris, you said it. Get your glove down, right?
That's all it takes sometimes.
So 1 out away. Here's Garcia. It was Garcia in the 8th inning who homered to tie the game at 8. Cingrani delivers. That's at the top end of the strike zone for a strike. These two facing each other for the first time. 6 out of 11. Tony Cingrani is saved, trying to make number 7 his save number tonight. Outfield deep and straight away for Garcia. Cingrani to the stretch. Barnhart sets up down and away, missing. And it's 2-1. Bouncer down to third. Suarez. Yes, sirree. The Reds come back to get a run in the 9th inning. Ross Ollendorf may have given up a homer, but he ends up with a W, and Cingrani will pick up his 7th save. The Reds win game 1 of the 4-game set in Atlanta. Good bounce back night, Chris.
Well, it was a seesaw battle all night long. The starters didn't go too deep. Dan, you're right, only went 3 innings. He gave up 5 runs. A couple of them were unearned. Aaron Blair, a lot of pitchers, a lot of action.